this one here. Hello, Frog. What's going on? Hello, Zad. What's going on TikTok?
Zod says, how are we feeling this afternoon?
Pretty good, I guess. Pretty good, I guess. How about you guys? How's life going?
Asks hello. I won't say much.
Yes, I do.
Do you know who won?
And I'm not disappointed, to be honest.
Asks now something more on topic. Have you watched the Dan to Dan anime?
So far I'm on episode 5, I believe. It's kind of breakneck, but I like it. I don't think there's a time where I got bored. Not even like pacing's pretty good. I have no problem with the pacing. Characters are likable so far and fun. And Okaroon tends to make very base takes towards Momo, which is funny to me. I like how they're supposed to like sweet moments, and he calls her a bitch when she's giving him advice. I'm like, yes. That shit is it's pretty based in my opinion.
Dandy's World fan said earlier. What about the first alien encounter?
I have no problem with that.
Sending one X chili.
I have no problem with that scene whatsoever.
The Dandy's World fan said love our lives.
Thank you.
Dandy's World fan said, what is the name of OK?
Wait, what? I'm not sure. It came with the tablet. It's not like it's an independent pen. It came with the tablet. It only works for this tablet. You gotta get the tablet to get this.
Dandy's World fan said, what is the brand?
XP Pen E22 link in bio. It's literally in my bio. Why do people ignore this?
Dandy's World fan said, I lost my candy bag from Halloween.
Candy. Okay, so the arm is... Okay, so we keep going, we keep going. So today we're going to be learning about perspective and composition today. That's going to be our today's goal, or today's focus. So today I'm going to be learning not learning, but I'm going to be practicing this, something that I think should have been practiced a long time ago. More often.
Fans said I'm a draw outside. Jack O'Lantern. New mono ultra microscopic silica volcano coniosis said, folks, we kicked off Democrats dollar.
Hey, no, don't do that. Do not, no, don't do that. That's not that type of stream here. No, we don't do, no. I get it, but don't do that. No, because once you start pulling that shit in, the crazies are gonna come in here. Dude, don't do that. I don't know why people do that shit. Do that. Do it on your own stream. Don't do that here. Don't. Please don't.
Dandy's World fan said it's so nice out. Bright Rocklose said good afternoon.
Bright Rocklose says good afternoon, everyone.
Said no political
Hey.
stuff.
Hey, Bree. Hey, Bri, what's going on, bro? I ain't got enough of them crazies coming at me for just saying stuff about video games. No, I don't need this.
Dandy's World fan said love the fresh air. Obscure Star said love your posing. Practice always makes perfect.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much so. But today we're going to learn about composition and perspective. First we'll start with composition because that's more easier to deal with compared to the rest. Well, it's actually, we're going to be learning 4 or 5 things today. We're going to be learning about composition, perspective, foreshortening. So this is why you see me drawing them in either dynamic or very foreshortened poses.
Dandy's World fan said we probably live in different places. Obscure Star said always have had trouble with foreshortening.
It's actually quite easy when you think. It's not as hard as a lot of people try to make it more than it. It's actually really easy. It's all about just making. The idea of foreshortening is the idea of big and small. That's it.
Unfortunately. Jack-o'-lantern, new mono ultra microscopic silicone.
So if you look closely as I'm drawing it, everything has a hierarchy to itself. I'm not just making legs and technically guessing. I'm not guessing my way through.
Essence asks, do you think the sumo spirit was also an alien or just a spirit?
I think it was it looked like it was kind of both, because it came around right after they came through to the front door. So that was, and it came because Momo said only evil spirits click on the bell. I don't think it was I think it was more of a spirit than it was an alien. It was just, it just had similar aspects like the aliens though. That was the part I didn't really, that kind of confused me a little bit. That part really got me. I was like, wait, is it an alien or is it a spirit? Because she said only evil spirits can like click on the button in the front. But Okarun referred to it as an alien from some type of UFO sighting. So it could be a misunderstanding.
And it's really helped me with closing.
So like, it could be seen as aliens, but it came very conveniently after the fact.
says, oh, you're talking about Danda.
Yeah.
Artextric asks also, why did you want Ken's pecker?
Also, why did he? Because I think that's her thing. I think that's Turbo Granny's thing. Oh, wait. Actually, you did ask that. He did ask for the banana. He said banana.
Jack-o'-lantern, new mono ultra microscopic silicone volcano.
I'm not really sure why he asked that. Because they said they're only interested in the human females. So like it kind of threw me off. That part really throws me off. Either that's a missing translation or it's supposed to keep you guessing on purpose. Because that threw me off myself. Now the hierarchy that's happening here is like you can number your way through. So like what's closest to us is what's biggest. So keep that in mind for those who are watching. I guess I'm doing a bit of a lesson this time. I'm going to be doing somewhat of a free lesson today. So if you guys are paying attention and you're having trouble with something like perspective or composition and stuff like that, which I have a little trouble when it comes to composition, so it is what it is. So you can number your way through. So you can use a number system. So I keep saying so, I'm sorry. So what you could use is like, so the biggest number is either the lowest or the highest, depending on what you want to do. So like number one, I'll say number one is like, the biggest is like one, like the arms and the head. Number two is like the breast. Number three is like, which is because the higher the number, well, you can do any system. Is like kind of using like grayscale, how you have like a number system. You can use this for foreshortening. So what comes first, you can put the highest number as the closest, or you can put the lowest number as closest, your choice. So number one is the closest, or one of the closest parts of the body. Number two is the second closest. Number three is the third closest. Number four is the legs, pretty much. And then if you see the feet, number five is the smallest. So So I hope that answers like a question to a certain degree. You can do that, like a number system. So that makes it easier for you to read it much more. So you know what comes first and what comes last. Or you can do it in the opposite direction. It's not like it's a guaranteed rule, okay? And then
Said I'm not a child, so I didn't trick or treat. But what about trunk or treat? Is that an adult thing? Thinking face emoji. Obscure star said that really helps.
so like what you can do next is that, or you can change up the, we can change up this pose. So like, see how that hand here? We can put the hand more closer here. Because the whole point is just, it's just shape hierarchy. So like whatever's big is the closest. Whatever's furthest is the smallest. So always keep that in mind. Right? It seems distant now because we have some form of lining, right? So I'm gonna make this even smaller as I go. See? And then, oh, let me erase this. And as I go down this line, I get relatively smaller to the point that you can't see it down the horizon line as it goes. So that's just to keep that in mind. This is what foreshortening is. Now, remember, in the idea of composition, for those who don't know what composition and perspective. Oh, can't spell today. And foreshortening. These three things are coded very simply, as you can see. What these three things represent simply is composition. So if you don't know what this is, composition is framing. Okay? It's all about framing and focus. Okay? So pay attention to those who are here if you're trying to learn. If you're trying to learn how to draw. I'm gonna make this as simple as possible so you don't get confused. So whenever you have an art teacher or you're watching a YouTube video and we're talking about art, when they use the word your composition's off.
Become a student if you want him to teach you.
Yes, today I'm doing a free lesson today. So become a student. I will not be doing free lessons like this. I do them very rarely now. So if you want to be a student, become a student in the sense of either be a free student and subscribe and like, or be a true student and no problem. Be a true student and become a YouTube member, a TikTok subscriber, or a Patreon members. You get all the same price, $3 a month. Anyway, so composition, whenever your teacher or art teacher, whether you're in college or you're in high school or even middle school or whatever, when your teacher says your composition is off, they're saying your framing is off. What that really means is, say, for instance, I am drawing something, right? And I'm drawing like a blade of grass. This is like a grass, right? And I wanted to have a form of focus. I will put a tree. Because the tree is not only just the highest thing and the biggest thing, it's going to capture your attention out of the littlest blades of grass.
Does that also apply if you're drawing traditional too?
Yes, it doesn't matter if you're digital. This is all traditional concepts I'm teaching. We got 70 watch. Oh, we had higher than that. Anyway, so the point is, so if you're looking for the traditional route, if you're looking for the focus is the tree. Now, there's several ways to bring focus to something. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be size like the blades of grass to the tree, because that's kind of obvious. It could be several trees, right? But maybe it's really dark, right? And because it's really dark, I may shroud some trees that has a shadow on it, but this tree in particular is more lighted because there's probably a light somewhere, probably from the moon or somewhere from like a lamp or a lamppost from the street or something like that. So a highway lamp, I'm saying. So this gives focus. Now the focus isn't the size, the focus isn't how many trees, the focus is that the light is giving focus to that tree and everything else is shrouded in shadow. Okay? Simple as possible. Pin comment. I know it is. I'm waiting on her to come so we can. She told me yesterday. I already knew about that. I'm supposed to sing her song thing. So that's the point of composition. It's about focus and framing. Okay? There's three ways. It's size, amount, of light and shadow. These are lines. These are 4 ways to bring focus. So like I said, the size of the blade of the grass, and then the tree. The tree is the biggest. Focus. The amount. Maybe it's not the grass anymore. Maybe there's several trees, right? But one tree stands away from the other 3. So like there's 3 here. So you might focus more on this. Or light or shadow. This could be in pure darkness, or like really shadowed light, and this has more light. There you go. Or vice versa. This could be in more shadow, and this could be all lighted up. So either that too. Or lines could be a thing. So like say for instance you're drawing a character doing an action pose and they're doing some cool effects, and the cool effects are curving back to the character. So when I say lines, it doesn't have to be straight lines, it could be curved lines. So like if I'm drawing a character, say for instance, let's use an example. Say I'm drawing a character, right, like this one, right, and I want to bring more focus other than just the body. I want to bring more focus to the, like say the face. I'll put more light, more lines that goes back to the camera. So like say for instance our hair is going like this, right? And her hair is going like that, right? Like this. And then say there's a certain effect that happens, or like her cape. I give her a cape, right? The cape and the lines in the hair is going back to the face in that sense. That's what that is. Because the lining and then everything else is probably like just as like say she's wearing a dress or a cape. Everything is flowing back to the body up to the face. The face is, and she's wearing like more clothing. So everything is focusing back to the face with these lines going back there. So it doesn't have to be straight. It can be curved or anything like that. So that can happen. So keep that in mind. That's a way of you can use composition of bringing focus. All right. Now perspective, for those who don't know, as we know, it's like we have the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5 perspective. We have the 1, 2, 3 perspective. 4th is, I think there's a term for it, and 5th is, I think, fisheye lens. Fisheye lens basically is like when you distort. It's like a distorted perspective where you use a literal circle, and you use that circle to curve everything to a certain degree like this, and you use this to put in a character or a frame or a scene. So this is usually used a lot in anime when a character is going crazy or having a mental breakdown or something like that. Or it doesn't have to be a mental breakdown. Maybe they're scared. Maybe it's a scene where there's a lot of distortion, or to show uneasiness. It's alright. So like we're gonna go through all of this throughout the week. I think this is something that shouldn't be just be a day. This is something we're gonna practice a lot throughout the week or next 2-3 weeks, and really understand it, because this is something I really do have issues in. I'm pretty sure most of you too. So we have 55 people on TikTok and we have 41 people watching on YouTube Shorts. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. If you guys like what you're hearing, or you're trying to learn, or you're trying to take in the information, don't worry, we're doing it for most of the day today, so I'll give any information today, just for today. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll try to get to everyone as best as I can. But if you like the information that you're hearing, or you're learning something, please follow, please subscribe and stuff like that, and be a free student if you want to be. If you want to be a live student or a real student, become either a TikTok member or a YouTube a YouTube member or a TikTok subscriber. Those are paying individuals or a Patreon member. And then you can ask any question in the Discord and I'll get to you and give you a personal response. All right. Anyway, so we have these type of perspectives, right? And as these perspectives exist, we're going to use one point perspective is basically the idea of using literally one track lining like this, and then we put a dot here, right? And then we use everything going back to this particular perspective. Oops, I'll do it. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. I'm not totally sure. I gotta check myself when it comes to that. And then what we'll do is let me see. Like that, and then we're going to use this to focus our time. Oh, we don't. We're going to use this to focus back on what we're trying to convey. So even if we're up in the air over our horizon, we're going to do everything to stay in perspective. So everything I'm doing goes back to the perspective. Okay. Oop. You don't have to actually use the squares to make anything. You just use the squares as a form of guideline to keep you at least accurate enough. So the point of perspective is not just it's not about just the visual perspective, it's more of the accuracy. So whenever someone says your perspective is wrong, if you're in art school or regular school or middle school, whatever type of grade you're in, or whatever point of life you are in, they're talking about accuracy. So they say your perspective off. That means your accuracy of whatever perspective point you're using is off. Okay? You can make buildings just out of just 1 point perspective alone. You can make a whole city out of just 1 point perspective from a top-down perspective, or even a regular perspective. It doesn't have to be top-down. Now, foreshortening, for those who don't know, is literally just size equals size and depth. That's what this is. Size and depth. So what that means is, like I showed earlier, that perspective is literally big, small, smaller, smallest, a dot literally vanished into the distance of a horizon line. That's what size of depth is. So if you combine these three things, you're going to have a lot more interesting posing, interesting drawings, interesting X, Y, and Z type responses. So keep that in mind, okay? So that's what we're going to be practicing mainly, okay? So as I'm drawing this character, as you can see, it's all about making sure everything is in relation to each other to a degree. Now accuracy of your anatomy does come in place into this to a certain degree, because since you're over layering your character, it might come off as a bit distorted if you're not paying attention. So keep that in mind when you're trying to keep things accurate as possible. You can still apply your proportion methods onto these things, but just be mindful of the overall perspective when doing the foreshortening. It's easy to fall into these traps. That's why you gotta be pretty vigilant constantly, and also flip the canvas. I know no one wants to do that, but flip the canvas if you're trying to be as super clear and accurate as possible, so it doesn't look like your character is like curving off to the distance or something like that. I'm saying this mainly for people who are in digital. I know traditional is a little bit more harder. I don't really have a method for flipping the canvas when it comes to traditional, so that's kind of on you guys. You guys got to figure that one out. I'm pretty sure there's a YouTube video on that very thing. Anyway, so it's like that. So for the foot here, let's say we can see the foot. And remember, the further away something gets, the more or less we see it. Okay, that's kind of like evident, but like the further away something comes, the more likely we're not going to see it, and it's going to be overlayered 9 times out of 10. So like, I think we're seeing too much of this leg. So what I want to do is erase this part of the breast here, right? And then we'll, oh, let me just fix that real quick.
Very nice. I said traditional artists can use a mirror to flip lighting under the paper or take a picture and flip it.
Now you can do that too, I guess. And I'm gonna, to feel a little bit more tight in this situation, I'm going to erase this part so we can see the love handle, because we want to see the love handle because it tells us that we can see the bottom half of her. We don't need to see the whole half. We just need to see piece of the half of her, and then the mid half of her will overlap this leg almost completely, like here. Hello. Right, and then the foot will just literally be little to no, we can hardly see it, but it will indicate to us, our brains will make up, that's the foot and the distance, right? Oh, and another thing I didn't mention, the closer something is, the thicker the line becomes, okay? I forgot to mention this. The closer something is, the more thicker it becomes. So, because what's happening is if you make the whole thing thick at the same time, it doesn't seem all that far away. Actually, it brings the character closer to us, okay? So, whenever you're drawing a character, okay, whenever you're drawing a character, right? You have to, hello Panda, hey Panda, it's been a while. Whenever you're drawing a character, right? What you need to keep in mind is that whenever a body part is very close, especially if it's coming right at us, say she's reaching out for us, her hand is like reaching out this, the hand will actually be really thick, and as it goes away into the distance, it thins out. Okay?
And says, yeah, has been, hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well, I'm doing pretty good. I'm pretty good, I'm doing awesome. And as it thickens out, like that, it comes closer, the thicker it becomes. You might see this a lot in like, you might see this a lot in like animes like Gurren Lagann, where Kamina is like pointing his finger to the sky or something, and his finger will be really thick, like the outline of his finger will be thick, and the rest of his body will be not as thick, or just it will be really thinned out. That gives it the emphasization that it's more closer to us than it is further. You will see this a lot even in environmental design. So like for instance, if you're drawing something in like in an environment, the closer something is, the darker it becomes, or more thickened it is. The further it is, the thinner it is, and it becomes bluer. The reason why, in distance wise, why the environment will be bluer is because 9 times out of 10, the atmosphere will be blue because of the sky, if you're outside, I'm saying. And because it's further away, the bluer it is. It doesn't matter if it's green, it doesn't matter if it's purple, it doesn't matter.
I feel like I'm looking at the character in more 3D.
Yeah. So like it's stuff like that. So keep that in mind. I keep saying that. So I hope that answers a lot of questions. So today we're going to be focusing a lot on composition and that type of practice. So let me go back and fix all this. I didn't mean for all this to be there. Okay, there we go. Just be clear, is that on 2 times speed? Nope. It was not on 2 times speed. I'm gonna get in trouble for that one. Okay. So I put the hand here. And I put the hand about here. Now, if you're doing the sketching process, don't really worry about being too accurate. Just try to get the overall idea out first. And then once you get the idea out first, then you can make your adjustments later. Because when you try to do everything at once, you tend to make mistakes or exhaust your mind on it. So just keep in line with just getting the concept out first and then make adjustments later. Don't try to do everything at once. A lot of people burn out when they do this. 9 times out of 10. So, like that. Okay. Like that. So I'm gonna put this away.
Everyone's noting just more.
Okay. So I'm gonna do another one.
Sort of which under YouTube animation. Mike, boots, just followed.
No, I don't do animation. Okay, let me do another one. So, like, let's draw this giant head. And get this upper half of the body. Okay.
Walter just followed. Yes, I agree. Aaron I said it sort of, not yet, but if he reaches his goal, he'll start learning.
Yep, if you guys get me to my goal, I'll definitely do it. I'll definitely start doing animation. My goal is to get to 100,000 on TikTok. Help me guys get to 100,000 on TikTok. Just follow me on TikTok. So I'll start doing animation. Alright, so you put the hand about here. Okay. And then put the arm about here. Okay. And then we put the legs about here. And then fix the legs about here. Okay. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. Hand about here. Fingers about here. With the breasts.
Jason Schweiger said, please draw a character from being a slave. Jason Schweiger said, please draw a character from being enslaved.
Okay, there we go. So we have all that ready to go. So what we're gonna do now, we're going to fix this. So what we're gonna do, I'm going to outline this. Oops. Now I would usually say draw pretty lightly when doing this. The reason why is because you want to thicken places that needs to be thickened. You don't want to be competing with a lot of that, so you should just draw pretty lightly. Don't try to be really thick with it. You already have your overall idea out first. Whoa, what the hell? Thank you. 40, is that 40 pounds? What the hell? What the hell? How much are 40 pounds? That's crazy. Is that pounds or euros? I'm not sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. How do I say your name? I don't know how to say your name. But thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, so draw more lightly and put it like this, right? Euros, okay, there we go. Thank you. I appreciate it, thank you. Thank you. Okay, like that. as I'm doing it really lightly and keeping the lines pretty, this is pressure sensitive, so I'm keeping it really light. I'm not trying to go too crazy with the thickness yet, because some lines are going to just stay how they are and others are going to just follow along.
Johnny Archer Briggs says another artist told me with a process like this to draw the hand first, then the body falls into place.
Well, it depends on the individual. Some people start with the hand, others starts with the arms. So we're going to draw this hand. Yeah, let's go. Okay, so we'll put the hand about here. Right? It doesn't have to be accurate right now. We just need to get the overall idea first, and then we'll clean up whatever we need. So since we put in what we needed, that, and then
Random Gen user
next.
says, is it easier to use a draw tablet with the display?
This. Is it easier to use a draw tablet with it? Yes. It's like literally asking, is it easier to draw on paper without looking? Well, with looking at it, yeah. It's just
Random
like,
user says thanks.
that's like saying like it's, oh, I don't know, it's like playing video game if you're using the non-screens. It's pretty much at that point because you have the eye coordination that way. It's a pain in the ass. It's a learning curve, but you can get it. But yeah, it's easier. Alright, so what we're gonna do is thicken areas that needs to be thickened. So the head is the closest thing to us. So I'm gonna thicken outside of this. Alright, oh. Let me fix that. Okay. 1, 3. Okay. Alright. I want to thicken this part because it's the closest thing to us. Okay, and then as we go away more, when we go away more, we're going to thicken outside a little bit, but not too much. Whenever there's a form of layering, depending on how layered something is, then you can thicken that too. But be very mindful of the thickening of layers, because if you do this, the line weight is going to compete with the head and it's going to make confusion. So what you want to do is thicken, but don't thicken too much. It shouldn't be the same width as the others. It should just show indication that there's something's being overlayered. Okay? So it shouldn't be that thick compared to this. This has to be thickened. This could be thinned like that. So keep that in mind. I keep saying that. I'm sorry, guys. I keep in mind saying. And then normally, because the further now we are going, it's going to get thinner because it's the more back. So that's how that works whenever you want something to feel closer to you and stuff like that. Because it feels closer now, but we need to thin this down a little bit. We just have to indicate to the audience that this is thickened, but not thickened too much. So try to be very mindful. Don't have the same size of brush. So keep that in mind. Like that. And then you have the character. I'm going to leave for a while. Have fun with your... Okay, no problem, Frog. It's okay. Bro's literally clicking. And then like this. Okay. And then that load in. Okay, there we go. So like that. And then like that. Now, two things are happening here with this hand, or the arm. The arm is actually pretty close. I think it's the, to be honest, the closest thing to us is the hand. It wouldn't be, it's weird because it's inside the character, but it's layering. So I would thicken this a little bit, right? And because this is layering over the leg and the chest, I will thicken that too. To show more closer, show how close something is, and that great stuff. So keep in mind that every time you do this, this is going to be a pattern that's going to happen a lot, and then when you do this, it's going to become more natural to do every time. So putting characters in certain like positions and angles and stuff will be much easier, because remember here the leg here is biggest, and this head is the hand is actually the smallest because it's the furthest away. Okay, hello. Now when something's more neutral, it doesn't really, like something as neutral as this does not to build up all this perspective. It's gonna be a practice. So like for this, like characters like this or poses like this don't morph because there's not a lot of layering happening, there's no foreshortening all that much, and because of that they kind of stay stable and the same size to a certain degree. So always keep that in mind. So like for this, for instance, there's a little bit of foreshortening that's happening here. We will actually get into this later, but there's a foreshortening that is happening here where the legs are not completely straightened. We're kind of looking from a top-down perspective, and because we're looking from a top-down perspective, our horizon line is actually at the bottom. Or no, our horizon line, because we're looking down on the character here, the horizon line is here. So whenever you're looking down on your character, they're under the horizon line. And to prove this, we could use a 1-point perspective. So like, just make it simple. So if I put a 1-point perspective where our VP, our vanishing point is, what will happen is that I'm going to put some lines here and here and some lines here and here, right? They don't have to be in the same direction, but like they just have to come back to the VP on our HL. Our HL is our horizon line, the literal line, and our VP is our vanishing point. Keep that in mind. So to know that we're looking down on a character, you can make a box right now. Like that, right? And because I know I'm looking down on the box, it's because I can see the top of it. See? Because our subject, our subject is under our HL, our horizon line. Now, if we're looking up at our, so it's at the top.
Says with the character lifting herself up the middle perspective.
Wait, would the character lifting herself up be a middle perspective? It depends on where you're looking. It really depends on how you drew her. That will make all the difference, because you can draw a character lifting, getting up from a top-down angle or in a bottom-down angle. It really depends on what angle you're taking. So like, say for instance, I put a box here. Yeah. So like right here, we can see under our box, and our subject is over our horizon line. So whenever you can see under the legs of someone, under the breast of someone, under the chin of someone, the horizon line is under them. So like, let's use an example. It's like this one again. For me to know that I know that the horizon line, without even trying to do a lot, I can't see the top of her head. I'm not directly on top of her head. I can see her head, but I'm not seeing on top of the head. I can't see the top of her shoulder. I can't see the top of her breast. I can only see the top right here.
Jolly Archer Brick says, I only asked because of that one post. I asked about, I was trying to figure out the perspective.
I gotta relook at it again because I get so many poses, so I have to go look at it again. But anyway, the point is like, because I can see the top of her ass and also her elbows, I can't see any, well, I can see directly at her back, but I don't see the top of her shoulder blades or anything like that, I can see directly at it, but I'm not looking directly on top of it. So because of that, the horizon line is somewhere here. Okay, so to go back, what I'm saying is that I can't see the top of the box here, and I can't see the bottom of this box. So this, and because I can't see the bottom of and that goes back to this as well. I just realized, because I can't see the bottom of her crotch down here, this one I'm going to refer to, and I can't see the bottom of her breast down here. I can only see the top here, the top of the shoulder, and the top of the head. I know she's under the horizon line. Does that make sense to anyone? Does that make sense? Because like for this one's a little bit of a weird one, because she's bending over, and because she's bending over, I can only see the top of her chest, right? And because I can see the top of her chest and her shoulders, because she's bending over, doesn't mean the horizon line is moved. The horizon line has not moved just because she's bending over. She's just happened to be bending over. I can't see the top of her head like that. I can only see the top of her shoulder, I can see the top of her breast, I can see the top of this shoulder, because she's happened to be bending. It still stays here. Because if she stands up normally, we'll be back here. So it didn't really change, she just bent over. A horizon line is basically the line that dictates your perspective. Does that make sense? So like for instance, if I were to take the line and do like this, a horizon line doesn't have to be a straight line like this. It could be even slanted. As long as the VP, our vanishing point, the little dot thing right here, this dot is our VP. I can still do what I want, because it indicates what we're it dictates what we're doing here. So if I make a box, no, I'm not doing that. Today we're doing perspective. We're doing perspective composition. We're not doing color theory or anything like that. So like this.
Mono said there's no dumb questions here, except if you ask for a free drawing.
And then like this. This is still 1 point perspective. It doesn't have to be actually straight like normal. It could be a slant or something like that. It has to be straight, but it doesn't have to be a straight horizon line. It could be even vertical, I believe. Well, this one we have it on slant, so it's coming back, because you can make a whole city from just a horizon line alone. So like this, if I did this, I can make a hallway alone. This is a hallway. And the lines here are relative to each other. So keep that in mind. I keep saying that, I'm sorry guys, it's a bad habit of saying. But like the lines are relative to each other. So even if, because these are the same size, if we're using perspective. So like if say for instance I use a horizon line like this, like a dot, and I made a say like this, right? Now every time we keep going down the distance, we can say this is 6 foot, right? Yeah, you don't have to use just one, you can use several of them. There could be several vanishing points, as long as the vanishing points are on the horizon line. So I can put another vanishing point here, it doesn't matter. But then again, distortion can happen. If you're doing 2 points perspective, the further away the points are, the more accurate they'll be. So what that means is, if, say for instance, I have a giant line here, a horizon line, and I put a dot here, and I put a dot here.
Jolly Archer Brick says that took me a while to figure out when I learned drawing buildings.
When you start doing this, what's gonna happen, You can put as many lines you want. There's no recommended or right way of putting the lines as long as it goes back to the vanishing point. So you could make a line, but remember, the closer the lines are, the more distorted your box will be. So if I were to draw the box, it's gonna be very distorted. Oh, it's gonna be very distorted. So it's gonna look really stretched out and all that stuff. So you have to be aware of this, right? So the further away they are, so that's why sometimes in traditional art, if the paper, whenever you're using paper, sometimes you may have to use like tape, and using a ruler, if you want to be super accurate, and they'll use tape and tape them together because the further along the lines are, the better normal the box will look. The closer they are, the more distorted it will be. This is why in fifth perspective, which is called fish.
Jolly Entrebrick says, I have to draw a grid if I'm drawing buildings to get them accurate.
So when we have fisheye lens, what's going to happen, I hear you. With fisheye lens, it's all about going back like that, right? And then we'll use this to, I don't know, draw a character in space. I'm not too well versed in this, so please bear with me. Oh, we'll use a box. Let's use a box. So we'll draw a box like this, or a box like this, because it's falling into the guidelines that I'm using. So it's gonna look very wonky. It's gonna look distorted, but yet also kind of in an orderly fashion, in like its chaos, because it's curving. You'll see this a lot in Sakuga type situations where there's a fight scene between characters in anime, like the Naruto fight, or I guess Deku and All Might fighting that one character from the movie. And there's a lot of distortion, or like a lot of curvature and stuff like that. Hello. How does rotation of shape work in perspective? How to keep size of the same object?
Shazla says hi.
Yeah, exactly what Aaron said. So like, you can do it this way, if I remember right. I think I never good at rotating like circles because they're such a pain. Surface reflection how you try.
Mono said it came late, so I will go now.
Alright, Mono.
Mono said by everyone.
Hold on, 1 second.
Shazza says, do you respond to comments on this?
Yes, I do.
The underscore detective said try to draw it like a mango. Mono said have a great day waving hand emoji. Jolly Ancha 35 Bricks said they
Jolly
said
Ancha Bricks says they said with fisheye lens you can draw the circle as a sphere. Sometimes too.
Yep. Like that. So you get rid of that. So you get this circle like that. Hold on. And then you have fisheye lens. Now you can put your characters in it. You can put a whole full body person in these boxes if you want. Or so. You could I have never drawn a person in this perspective, so like this.
Says, did you see my comment?
Yes. Wait, your comment? Let me see. What did you say?
Very nice, I said
You just said hi. That's all you said.
is not moving further or closer is more of a form study or practice so you understand the object in all its angles. I said by Mono. Anonymous critic said rotation of box is hard. Also changing vanishing points. Any tips?
You can do this where you can take a line
Shazza
here.
says no. I mean my comment on one of the vids.
I'm not sure. I have to go check. I don't really usually read them too much because I'm too busy always making content. But I'll check it later. VP. So like, say for instance, we make a box. I think this is how it works. So if I remember right how to do this, please bear with me when I do this. So like that, and then like this. And then what we can do is to we use, I think, the box next to it like this. And then as we use that, that's how you rotate. That's how you rotate the box. Because we're using, oh, that's how you do it. So line VP dot 1 2, and then we have our box. Or no, I'll make it more several of them. 1 2 3 4. Oh. Okay.
Jolly Archer Briggs says now I'm understanding this.
Now like this. And then if I wanted to say I wanted to change the perspective of something, I think you do it like 1. Oops. Do 1. Ah, let me get one more thing. 1 2. And then we'll use the vanishing point 1 2. And then we see the side of this one. And then if we want to rotate it again, I believe, we can do it again by, let's see, how this will work. I think it's like this. I remember Antonio said this. Alfonso said something like this. He was
Jumping
showing.
onto bricks stuff is basically using the grid to throw it into any perspective, but it's tricky.
Like this. I think that's how it works. But I think I did it wrong. I need to go refresh on that real quick. Let me go check it real quick just to make sure I'm doing it right.
Eli rules and things I said not always.
Let me see.
Eli rules and things I said sometimes, but rarely.
Let me see. Oop, sorry about that.
Jolly Archer Briggs says I had to watch a couple of YouTubes myself before I got
This part always gets me every time. Let me get it real quick. I know I can get. I did it before. Okay, let me see. Just to make sure I'm on the.
I'm going to show you guys how to do two.
No, not this one. It was putting people in perspective.
Making all these are converging lines.
We can rotate it by using the circle around. Oh yeah, I don't like using the circle thing. It's just a pain in the ass. It's like a bunch of. It's like let me see. It's like if you put the circle and then you have to do a bunch of X, Y, and Z.
I'm going to sketch in the road.
Let me see. I hate doing the circle thing.
Because this is to show that if you understand the concept, that's what matters. Okay.
Let's see.
Now, see, this is my vanishing point, so that means all diagonal lines will come to this
rotating,
point. Okay. So I can just start putting in
perspective.
my horizontal and vertical lines, and that will be the top.
Okay.
That time you saved a turtle.
See here.
That day you led the charge. That night.
Okay, so
in this lesson, I will teach you how to rotate the cube horizontally using the ellipse method. So what is an ellipse? Basically, it's an oval. A circle is a 2D flat shape,
I think it's like
but when
this.
you look at it in perspective, it becomes an ellipse. A square is a 2D flat shape, but when you look at it in perspective, it becomes a trapezoid.
Okay.
A cube is basically composed of many squares. So when we look at the cube in perspective, the sides or the planes become a trapezoid. Since a cube is just basically composed of squares,
Thinking too
let's see
long.
first
Get to the
how a
point.
square rotates, so we would know how a cube rotates. A square is much simpler, so let's start with that. If we have the pivot at the center, you'll notice that the corners of the square are revolving around a circle. Now this is a rotating cube. Let's just focus on one plane, which is the bottom, so that it's easier to follow. Currently it's a trapezoid because we're looking at it in perspective, but we know this is a square, just in perspective. So if we rotate this, we'll notice that the corners will revolve around an ellipse. So the concept still applies. We're just looking at it in perspective. So now we know that if we draw an ellipse on the corners, we'll know where to put the corner points when it rotates.
Okay, so if I make a circle, I put 1, 2, oh. One, two. Actually, it's more like a diamond if I think of it now.
Is that information enough to rotate a cube though?
I don't think so.
Like this one, is this still the bottom plane of a cube? The corners are within the ellipse, so is this still correct?
No.
I highly doubt that. Let's go back to our square and search for more clues. If we keep on rotating this square, we'll notice that the inner part will also form a circle. And we'll notice that no line will go inside the circle. If a line does go inside the circle, if we intentionally move this to go inside the circle, we'll notice that it's not anymore a square. So we can use that as a guide. We have an outer circle to know where the corners would revolve to, and the inner circle to keep the lines in check. Now let's go back to our cube and focus on the bottom plane again. Since the perspective equivalent of a circle is an ellipse, let's have the outer ellipse to know where the corners would revolve to, and the inner ellipse to keep our lines in check, so we can be sure we maintain its form. So how big should we make the inner ellipse?
Wait.
Let's go back to our square. The inner circle is just about the size of the square, and there is only one point that touches the square. We call this a tangent. So it's not bigger than the square, but it also is not smaller than the square.
It has to
So
just
let's
touch
make our
the
inner
sides.
ellipse
Okay.
just as big as our bottom plane, with just one point touching the side. If we use this as our guide, the outer ellipse is where the corners would be, and we just need to make sure that the line we would make would only touch one point in the inner ellipse. So make sure the line doesn't go in the inner ellipse, but that it's also not out.
Oh, wait, go back.
One point touching the side. If we use this as our guide, the outer ellipse is where the corners would be, and we just need to make sure that the line we would make would only touch one point in the inner ellipse. So make sure the line doesn't go in the inner ellipse, but that it's also not out. With this guide, we can rotate the bottom plane of the cube that looks correct. How about now the rest
So it
of the
has to stay outside the circle. Oh.
as our bottom plane, with just one point touching the side.
Let me say again.
If we use this as our guide, the outer ellipse is where the corners would be, and we just need to make sure that the line we would make would only touch one point in the inner ellipse. So make sure the line doesn't go in the inner ellipse, but that it's also not
Judge
out.
Valdez says hi.
With this guide, we can rotate the bottom plane of the cube that looks correct. How about now the rest of the cube? If we rotate the cube horizontally, meaning left to right or vice versa, the planes that we need to focus on are the bottom plane and the top plane. So once we have finished the bottom plane, we just need to create the top plane equivalent of that.
Brighter
And we
closes
can
and
also use
Joshua
the
Valdez,
ellipse method
welcome to
for
the
the top
stream.
plane. And once that is done, we just connect the corners. So how do you rotate
Jolly
this
Answer
vertically?
Brick
How can
says
we have
that
the
in a
cube
circle
either
part
look
always
up
gets
or look
me.
down? Previously, we used the ellipse method on the bottom plane and the top plane to rotate it to the left. So when rotating a cube from up to down or down to up, we need to use the ellipse method on the side planes. The concept still applies, but just on the sides. Think of the corners of this side plane revolving around the outer ellipse, and the inner ellipse is just there to keep the lines in check. So you can think of it like this, you can visualize it like this, that if you rotate a cube horizontally, meaning left to right, then you're going to use the ellipse method on the top plane and the bottom plane. But if you are going to rotate it vertically, you use the ellipse method on both of the side planes. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more,
In real life, I
Sovereign 11
feel
just followed.
rotating away. Oh my god.
Said I liked how instead of pretending she knows everything, she is also learning, so refreshing, make her feel more human, lol.
Who's she? Let me see. Okay, so let me see here.
Jolly Incha 30.
Jolly Archer Bricks says I understood that, but also confused me all over again.
Under said day and fire emoji. Said you queen.
I'm a dude. Fuck. Ew. Ugh. Okay, so let me think here. So how would I do this? Squares and circles.
Brighter close says low.
Let me see. Where to place vanishing points. Okay. Okay, so when the circle here is right here, like that, right? And then like that.
Jolly Entre Bricks says it's said to keep the circle within the 4 points.
Within the 4 points. Keep the circle within the 4 points. The circle within the 4 points. 1, 2. Actually, we'll do this more easily. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Right? Now let me
Anonymous
see.
critter said 2 concentric circles, then draw the box. Said oops, I use female pronouns for everyone. Sometimes I forget and be a loudly crying face emoji.
That sounds like cope. That sounds like cope. Just say you made a mistake. Look, listen, I'm self-aware. I'm not mad at you for thinking I was a I don't have the deepest of voices.
Brighter place says alrighty.
You don't have to lie to me. That was a good one. I love that one. That was a good one. Listen, in this business, you have to have thick skin and not get so upset over stupid shit like that. I don't make a big deal. I am very much aware and self-aware that my voice is not the sexiest or the deepest. It's one of the most annoying prepubescent voices for a 29-year-old. I'm very much aware of it. But you don't have to tell me. You don't call everyone by female pronouns. That is hard cope. You made my day though. Try to save face. I get it. All right. Let's get back to business. All right, so
Jolly Entre Bricks says more.
Oh, that was the most nicest. That was the most nicest, funniest cope ever. Oh shit. It happens. I don't lose my mind because people don't call me the right pronouns. Shit, those are for you kids. I don't worry about shit. I'm an old head. I'm old as fuck. I'm a unk, as you kids will call me. Oh shit. See, this is why this pronoun thing is a joke. Okay. Alright. Woo! Okay, that was a good laugh.
Bright Close says LMAO.
Jose Henrik said, oh my god, no one speaking device.
Let me see. So we make a circle.
Jose Henrik said 40 days.
Like that.
C1 at D said preppy.
Like that. And then we got our square. Right. Now we have to put a circle within our square. So if I wanted to rotate this.
Joshua Valdez said,
Josh Waffle says, I hope you have a great day.
You too, bro. I appreciate it. All right. I think we can do it like this, right? I want to make sense. How do I do this? I'm gotta rewatch that again. I'm going to improve on this somehow or another. I will improve on this. I will improve on this, people. Okay. So, you said it has to stay in within the circle.
Again, since the perspective equivalent of a circle is an ellipse,
we're doing studies.
The outer ellipse to know where the corners would revolve to, and the inner ellipse to keep our lines in check, so we can be sure we maintain its form.
Anonymous critter said, draw
so
it bigger.
How big should we make the inner ellipse? Let's go back.
Yeah, maybe if I draw it bigger. Actually, better yet, I don't know if this is cheating, but I can always use an ellipse tool. I don't know if that might be cheating to a certain degree. I can just do it this way. But I feel like that's cheating to a certain degree. Because I feel like it's more remembered, or at least more prominent if you do it yourself physically. You'll keep that muscle memory in check. But maybe for the sake of just understanding, we'll make an exception at this moment. But let me get a square, see if I understand it, and then I'll just draw it out. Because if I draw it out, if I understand it concept-wise, I can draw it.
It's called using your resources. COLL-GAM3R said, love the art.
Thank you. I guess you're right.
Thank you, Zabrewski, for sending what I targeted.
Okay, this is where this problem will come in.
Attachment. Anonymous Critter said that's a much more advanced Ellipse tool than I have. It has rotation. Cerberus-Q said yo.
Yo, hold on. Hey, what's up, bro? How are you doing, my dude? Hope you're doing awesome.
Thank you, Zabrewski, for sending 10x Team Racing.
Zabrewski says yeah.
Thank you, bro. Maybe I'm gonna have to draw this one out because it's not doing what I want. So I'll draw this one out like this.
Zabrewski says sketching in between these loads I'm delivering.
I got you, bro. And then like that. I don't think that's correct. I don't think that's correct. Okay, so we'll go one here, and then one down here. Better yet, we should. Right, and then I think what we should do is. Oops. So touching the points, he said. Touch the points. That might be right. What do you think, team? What do you think, guys? Do you think this is right? Do you think I did the right thing here? For those who are watching, paying attention, who wants to improve. Do you think that looks right? I think that looks right. Well, concept-wise, I believe. Actually, no, this is touching. I don't think it's right. Damn it. Let me redo that. It's touching. I don't think it's supposed to be in the thing. It's supposed to be touching it, but not...
Bright Rocklose said thinking face emoji.
I think it looks right, based on what he had.
If we keep on rotating this square, we'll notice that the inner part will also form a circle. And we'll notice that no line will go inside the circle. If a line does go inside the circle, if we intentionally move this to go inside the circle, we'll notice that it's not anymore a square. So we can use that as a guide. We have an outer circle to know where the corners would revolve to, and the inner circle to keep the lines in check. Now let's go back to our cube and focus on the bottom plane again. Since the perspective equivalent of a circle is an ellipse.
NT said trying to learn perspective is hard AF.
I think it's kind of fun now. It's a new power. It's like a new ability you're going to achieve. And then when you get it, everyone will admire you for it. Ha ha. Okay, so we grab this.
IRRELEVANT said I'd be scratching my head 24/7.
And then we'll... I think that is correct. What do you think, guys?
LEVANT said, holy shit, this is so cool looking. Sorry for the noise times.
No, it's fine. We're learning.
LEVANT said noise.
We're learning today. We're learning. It's all about learning today. We're learning. I'm just as learning as much as you guys. So it's not like I'm not well versed in something like this. Unlike my other drawings I was done. So this is as, I won't say new, but it gets me as frustrated as anyone else. I get as frustrated as anyone else. I don't think. Anyway, so the circle we made goes inside here, sits in there. So I feel like that's more correct wise. Now, the only problem now is how do we rotate this? If we can figure out how to rotate it, we can virtually do anything from that point. If once I figure that part out, that's when everything just clicks for me. Because I can pretty much make it work. Once I understand the concept, it's over at that point. Just like how I learned how to draw hands.
Let's have the outer ellipse to know where the corners would revolve to, and the inner ellipse to keep our lines in check, so we can be sure we maintain its form. So how big should we make the inner ellipse? Let's go back to our square. The inner circle is just about the size of the square, and there is only one point that touches the square. We call this a tangent. So it's not bigger than the square, but it also is not smaller than the square.
It's touching.
So let's make our inner ellipse just as big as our bottom plane, with just one point touching the side. If we use this as our guide, the outer ellipse is where the corners would be, and we just need to make
the outer ellipse is where our corners would be.
Sure that the line we would make would only touch one point.
Okay. I know he's on 2.5 speed, so I'm gonna pull that back. Let's say he talks more slower.
The square. So let's make our inner ellipse just as big as our bottom plane.
Okay.
With just one point touching the side. If
one point is touching the side, so only one point is touching the side.
Use this as our guide. The outer ellipse is where the corners.
So let me see.
This would be, and we just need to make sure that the line we would make would only touch one point in the inner.
Okay. So the one that's touching the point is probably the red one. Green one is definitely not, and blue is not. So it's between yellow and red, and I'm assuming that red is the one that's actually touching it. So not all of them have to be touching the inner circle, I think.
Ellipse. So make sure the line doesn't go in the inner ellipse.
Make sure the line will go in the inner ellipse. The line itself. So let's go back a little bit. So the line is out here. So the line that is supposed to be the box cannot be crossing through the inner line, the inner circle. Got it.
Ellipse. So make sure the line doesn't go in the inner ellipse, but that it's also not out.
So,
with this guide, we can rotate the bottom plane of the cube that looks correct. How about now the rest of the cube? If we rotate the cube horizontally.
So how can I do this? So
IRRELEVANT asks, so if can't go over the outer ellipse but touch it?
It can only one can touch the inner circle, but it can't cross through it. So if I put okay, let me use it. Let me see what I can. Bro, what the fuck? Okay, so if I put a line here, and then it has to be. It cannot touch. Right? And then like that. And then like, no, that doesn't look right. I will get this. That. That. I think it's like this. It has to be. I don't think. Did he say one point has to be touching? I gotta go back on that. I think that's how it works. Does that look right? You guys tell me, does it look wrong?
Kirishmasim says I am here.
I am here.
Beaming face
Hey,
with
Slay
smiling
Queen.
eyes emoji. Beaming face with smiling eyes emoji. Beaming face with smiling eyes emoji. IRRELEVANT said, yeah, that seems good.
Now, let me see something. I'm not deleting it, but I'm going to move it out of the way. I want to see something. So if I were to
Anonymous critter said, yes, look right.
make a line here, and then I want to make another line going, but doesn't have to, okay. Okay. No, that doesn't make sense. Okay, we need to rotate this. The rotating part. So if I wanted to rotate this like this, right? If I do it like this. No, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't make sense. I don't think so.
IRRELEVANT said, perspective is like math to me hard.
It is hard, but if you really just buckle down and put in the effort, you'll figure it out. Anyone can figure this out. Even a simpleton like me, if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. Almost looks right, but this is out of bounds. So I'm going to erase this.
IRRELEVANT said, yes, if I learn perspective art will be so fun with the things I'ma do.
Yeah. So open a lot of opportunities anyway. So wait, does it? Okay. Oh wait, it just has to stay outside of it. But it still has to have the four corners. Okay. So, what does that mean? So if I put it like this, and then slant it more like this, it has to be, I think he said it has to be touching, at least one has to be touching it. But this is crossing through, so that wouldn't work. I'm gonna figure this out, and I will get it. I will get this. I don't give a shit if you guys stop watching. I will get this.
Nico D'Angelo said, I hate perspective pensive face emoji.
I know. But I think a good mindset is to like what you hate. Which is ironic when I say this.
IRRELEVANT said, in my opinion, that's good.
I don't know, I'm a perfectionist. I wanted it to look as perfect as possible. God, like, put it about... Don't touch it. There we go. And then we put it about here. Ooh, just going out the...
Nico D'Angelo said, at least I can draw inexpensive face emoji. IRRELEVANT said, real. Honestly, artists def are trying to work like Sisyphus.
Fuck, just going through it again. Let me watch the video again. Does it only one have to touch it? Or... That's my problem.
Line will go inside the circle.
Reference.
If a line does go inside the circle, if we intentionally move this to go inside the circle, we'll notice that it's not anymore a square. So we can use that as a guide. We have an outer circle to know where the corners will revolve to, and the inner circle to keep the lines in check. Now let's go back to our cube and focus on the bottom plane again. Since the perspective equivalent of a circle is an ellipse, let's have the outer ellipse to know where the corners would revolve to, and the inner ellipse to keep our lines in check, so we can be sure we maintain its form.
Shortcut each angle. Shortcut each angle touching outer Let's rotate it along the outer circle then. But yeah, I understand that, but it can't go out or in the thing. You'll see what
So, how big should we make the inner ellipse? Let's go back to our
I
square.
have an idea to put the same thing, but front facing, to use it as a figure stuff out.
The inner circle is just about the size of the square, and there is only one point that touches the square. We call this a tangent. So it's not bigger than the square, but it also is not smaller than the square. So let's make our inner ellipse just as big as our bottom plane, with just one point touching the side. If we use this as our guide, the point touching the sides, just as big as than the square. So let's make our inner ellipse just as big as our bottom plane.
Okay.
With just one point touching the side. Just as big
This fucking accent is throwing me off.
as our bottom plane. With just one point touching the side.
Just 1 point touching the side. Just 1 point touching the side.
If we use this as our guide, the outer ellipse in the side.
Okay.
If we use this as our guide, the outer ellipse is where the corners would be, and we just need to make sure that the line we would make would only touch one point in the
there's several
inner
points.
ellipse.
There's this one. There's this one. This one. Is he saying 1 point of only one side of the line, or are you saying each side will touch it? Because this one's touching, this one's touching, this one's touching, and this one's touching. So if that's the case, if they're slightly touching it but not crossing through it, so one. Okay. Oop, keep doing that.
Jolly Oncher Brick says the points of the square should fit in the circle, I think.
It's 2. It's 3. I think that's how it works. Because it's virtually impossible not for it not to touch the circle.
IRRELEVANT said sometimes the commentary is confusing AF, and it may have some mistakes that can confuse Blee loudly crying face emoji. IRRELEVANT said yeah.
So, okay, so I think I got it. I think I got it to a certain degree, a little bit, but I don't know if that what I'm going about is the correct way. I feel like it is, but I could be wrong. So I'm gonna go here. But this is where this problem comes in. You see this line? I don't think it's supposed to be crossing through that.
Angelo said I just drew the most terrifying fish ever.
So I'm gonna do it again. Okay, 1, 2. All right, and then 1, 2. Oops. Actually, what I'll do is copy and paste this. Copy. Grab this. Go like that. Alright, I guess that makes
Nico
sense.
D'Angelo said, what cursed animal should I draw next?
I don't know, zebra? And this is where the problem comes in. Now, this might be wrong because of how I constructed the circle.
IRRELEVANT said bat.
Better yet, what I'll do is this. I think this is where the problem's coming in. I think it's the thickness of the lines itself. So I'm going to erase this. I'm going to even erase the circle. This circle.
IRRELEVANT said yes.
I think that's what's causing the issue. Because if you look at both of the lines, one's really thick and one's really thin. So, okay, so let's make this So this is a square. We're gonna make this circle into, I think the square is, what size is this? This size 15. Okay. So what is the circle? Yep, it was a size 30. Okay, make that a size 15.
IRRELEVANT asks, excuse me, 30.
It was on a size 30. I mean, but it has to be touching, so that's where the problem comes in. So if I had the, how can I make this work? Okay.
Has been boss said, what's the tablet called?
XP Pen E22, link in bio. XP Pen E22. XP Pen E22. Okay. I may have to resize this to a certain degree.
Has been boss said, huh, what again?
EXP Pen E22.
IRRELEVANT said, do you have vector layer? Or something with vector cores? I use it to make the line art thinner. Has been boss asks, except an X22?
No.
Dandy's World Fan said it's working.
Okay. I think this is better.
Dandy's World Fan said the lesson, it worked.
Okay, so I'm gonna use a purple.
IRRELEVANT said great job.
And then
Has been boss said, what you drawing?
we're trying to learn perspective and rotating a circle or a square in a circle or something. Anyway, get the line. Okay.
Has been boss said okay.
Yeah, it's 15. Okay, so I'm gonna put one here. I'm gonna make it a different color so we can see it better. There. Oops.
Has been boss said, how do you go on bio?
It's in the descriptions if you're watching. It literally says the link. The link is there. It's the Amazon link. If that's what you're looking-
IRRELEVANT said 3 dots.
There are 3 dots. There, and then I'm assuming it's like that. Oops, nope, did that wrong. Again. Stupid me. I think this is more accurate than it was before. Actually, I'll do it again. Let's zoom in on this just to make sure to make this more accurate. I don't want to do that, but we'll do that anyway. I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna do this anyway. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna 1. Holy shit! What the fuck? Okay. Okay, like that. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're trying to avoid that it getting inside the line. Trying to avoid that part. That's the thing I'm trying to avoid. It should touch outside of the circle, but it should never get in the circle. And that's where it makes this difficult. I feel like I'm making a transmutation circle. Jesus Christ. Okay. Now what we'll do is erase the edges, I guess. No, I don't think that makes much of a difference. Just keep them where they are. Okay, so this is touching the side. This is more into this, but we'll just leave it alone for now. So these are touching the circle. So I guess this is more accurate than it's supposed to. I'm guessing. Or better yet, I think what we can do is that we move the line. We move the VP over here.
IRRELEVANT said yes.
And then what we'll do is
Anonymous Critter said, I
pull it
think
like
the
this.
two-circle system is a waste, where the inner circle located inside outer one matters too much.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way myself. Do like that. This is probably a more accurate way of doing it. Oops. Okay, I can't. Shit. Fuck. I almost had it, I think. Ah, I think that's how it works. So, I think that's how it works. I think I just kind of figured it out. So if I put the horizon, if I put the line, the vanishing point here,
IRRELEVANT said, I think that's good.
and I do it like this, 1, and then do it again like this, 2, and then I use the points from here, from within the circle itself, from the line, and try to stay as outside of it as possible. Then oh, that's where the problem, and this is where the problem comes in for me. This works, but for some reason the other side don't want to work. Yeah, annoying. So fucking annoying.
IRRELEVANT said it's such an easy and good tip, OMG.
Maybe it's like that. But it looks slanted. It doesn't look correct. That's what's bothering me the most. Is it supposed to look like that? I doubt it. I highly doubt that one, Chief. I think. I'm not totally sure. Maybe I did something wrong. I keep thinking I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Okay, like that. And then do it again.
IRRELEVANT said, honestly, I would copy and paste the top one.
Let me copy. You mean the circle? The top circle?
Dandy's World fan said, this is taking you long, that's good. Taking a time and not rush it.
No. I'm trying to improve. You guys just have to be witnessing my practice. This is why when a lot of people come to my stream and be like, how do you get better? We do shit like this. We do the boring stuff. Everyone wants to do the fun stuff, but you have to do the boring stuff to do the fun stuff. That's literally how it works. A lot of people don't want to do it. They don't want to practice. They're looking for a cheat code. They think we're making artists or professionals are making it up as they go, as in like, do this, do that. I'm just trying to waste your time to get views type response.
Dandy's World fan said this is not boring.
So I used to find this extremely boring, but now because
fan said this is still fun.
I have no reason to like improve in other places right now, that this is more fun right now, and it has taken my interest. We can't. That doesn't work. I'm doing something wrong, but let me see what the video says. I'm doing something wrong. I'm not seeing something, or I'm not comprehending something.
So make sure the line doesn't go in the inner ellipse, but that it's also not out. With this guide, we can rotate the bottom plane of the cube that looks correct. How about now the rest of the cube? If we rotate the cube horizontally, meaning left to right or vice versa, the planes that we need to focus on are the bottom plane and the top plane. So once we have finished the bottom plane, we just need to create the top plane equivalent of that.
Okay.
And we can also use the ellipse method for the top plane. And once that is done, we just connect the corners.
Okay.
So how do we rotate this vertically? How can we have the cube either look up or look down? Previously, we used the ellipse method on the bottom plane and the top plane to rotate it to the left. So when rotating a cube from up to down or down to up, we need to use the ellipse method on the side planes. The concept still applies, but just on the sides. Think of the corners of this side plane revolving around the outer ellipse, and the inner ellipse is just there to keep the lines in check. So you can think of it like this, you can visualize it like this, that if you rotate a cube horizontally, meaning left to right, then you're going to use the ellipse method on the top plane and the bottom plane. But if you are going to rotate it vertically, you use the ellipse method on both of the side planes. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more, I teach a Skillshare class on...
Nope, we're not doing that. Okay, let me see. Okay, let's do that again. Let's
Guys,
watch
you
another video.
need better haircut. Pros, they personalize and need to order hair care. They took my hair from this.
Doing it once won't learn you
Hi
won't
there.
anything.
Today,
Love watching your lives and
Thank you.
In perspective. And in doing so, enabling us to draw from imagination.
I know this
Wouldn't it be
accent is a little
cool
harder to
to do
understand.
this in your drawings? Roaming around freely in whatever scene you've imagined. But oftentimes when we're sitting down to draw, we just can't bring those ideas.
IRRELEVANT said 3 for putting the whole essay while your video.
Perspective in general brings us along.
Dandy's World fan said, by the way, someone saying just
No, you're fine.
bad get better. Yap, grinning, squinting face emoji, 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 grinning, squinting face emoji. Don't listen, and what you do is tell them you do practice and actually work hella hard.
So, let's get this thing started. This video does not explain basic perspective. So how vanishing points work, 2-point and 1-point perspective. We are going to jump right onto the carousel of rotating boxes. Rotating a box in perspective is challenging. It's not intuitive and it does not come natural to us. So let's simplify.
Okay.
Let's change the perspective to a top view. So now we're looking at it from the top, and our box appears as a 2D shape.
Dandy's World fan said sorry for the emoji.
No, it's fine. Just trying to focus.
And if we start to rotate that square, we see that the outside points of our square are following a circle path.
Okay.
the more we rotate it, the more the circle gets filled up. And additionally to that, there's also an inner circle. So if we are following the center point of our edges, we will see that this center point of the edges are also following a circle path, like so. So no matter how far we rotate the square, we can be sure that these edge points are always on the outer circle, and the center point of our edges, so the connecting line between our points, is also lying on this inner circle. Fun fact, by the way, no matter the object we're rotating,
Okay. There's a circle wrapped around it. So even when you see the top of it, it's gonna make a circle.
So let's take this weird monkey head
Okay.
and rotate it as well.
Okay.
And you will see that the
It's gonna be a
outermost
circle.
points of this monkey head are also described
Okay.
as a circle. So if we would be able to project this 2D behavior we just saw into 3D space, we would be able to get a great grip on rotating boxes in perspective.
Okay.
So let's see how this applies to a 3D view. Let's zoom out the camera like so, and we can see it still applies even in perspective. Something weird happened to our circle, but we will look at this in a moment. But the general concept applies. Let's check if this behavior also works on different axes. So, for example, if we want to rotate our
It'll be
box
same.
sideways. And it also applies here. You can basically put your circle at every axis you like. So at this point, you basically
Danny's old fan said also ask them on Qt if you think my drawing's bad, then why don't you see how hard I really work face without mouth emoji?
If we are able to draw perfect circles in perspective, we've got the major enabler to draw boxes in perspective and to describe their rotation path. So the main art form here is how to put those circles into perspective. And this is what we will be looking at next.
Okay.
Hey guys,
Was that it?
today we're going to learn how to add this Quick Studio with
Okay, now we know that displaying a perfect circle in space or in perspective can bring us a long way. So let's see what happens if we actually bring circle into perspective. Some interesting things happen here. First of all, let's look at this circle from front view, and we're slowly gonna tip it over into perspective. What we notice is that it becomes more and more elliptical.
Danny's world fan said that's what I would do.
If you use this example with a cup of coffee or a glass on your table, if you look at it from the front view and start tipping it over, it becomes more and more elliptical until, if we tipped it far enough, it vanishes into a line, straight line.
Okay.
So let's look at this elusive ellipse form and see what it's made of and which rules it follows. Let's take a closer look at this 2D oval shape, and we will see that it's divided in half by two axes. Those axes go through the widest points of the ellipse. The major axis describes the longer division,
Dude, you gotta
and
take
the
them
minor
to
axis
explain better.
describes
Turn
the smaller.
faster.
Also note that these two axes are always perpendicular to each other, like
Okay.
so, and they are dividing this 2D egg shape in 4 equal parts.
Okay.
If those criteria which we just saw are not met, we're not talking about ellipses. Could be an elongated ellipse, okay. Could be a weird organic other shape. Yes, like you, Mr. Monkey. But maybe the most mind-blowing thing or interesting thing in this case is that you could think this 2D concept, which we just saw, is somehow weirdly distorted in perspective.
Okay.
But actually, this 2D concept, as long as we're talking about a perfect circle, applies to the 3D space. Let me show you an example. So let's look at those perfect circles from a bird's eye perspective, basically looking down on them. Now let's start to rotate the camera, bring it down so we can see that these perfect circles in perspective can be described with this 2D concept of an ellipse. So we've got a major axis, minor axis, they are perpendicular to each other, and they divide this shape into 4 equal parts. This principle will come in handy in the future when we are rotating boxes in perspective. This consistency of a 2D concept in a 3D world even goes further. But for that we have to explain what the center of rotation, or the center axis of rotation, is. You can imagine it as a toothpick.
Dandy's World fan said, since my drawings of people look not pro artist level, I made a drawing that some people would say look really bad, but it took me close to an hour. D.
I understand.
Okay, yes, I understand.
Practice is needed.
Anyway, we can find the center of our object. For example, in this case, as our piece of cheese is represented as a box,
okay,
we can find the perspective center of our top plane here, for example with the X trick. And we're putting the toothpick through, and basically the toothpick stands for our y-axis in this moment, and you can imagine this as rotating the toothpick, and the piece of cheese or the box rotates alongside. You can also imagine this as the tires of a car, which are literally on an axis, and here we can also find the center point rotation, put through our axis, rotate the axis, and the wheels will rotate accordingly. Now, the fun part is that this 2D concept of the minor axis of the ellipse and this perspective concept of the axis of rotation, that these two lines fall exactly onto each other. Let's demonstrate this on our cheese example. Let's assume the piece of cheese is a cube, so a perfect box, and let's therefore imagine that since we're dealing with a perfect circle, the ellipse fills up this top plane. If we're now drawing in the minor axis, and we're looking at the axis of rotation, our y-axis, we see they exactly match. Mind blown. There's one catch only. You could think that the perspective center, so the center point of rotation, falls on the center point of our ellipse, this 2D concept of our ellipse, but it actually does not. So the center point of the ellipse lies on the minor axis and also lies on the center axis of rotation, but actually the two center points do not match. This has a simple practical consequence for us. If you are drawing
Dandy's World fan said sorry to interrupt. Dandy's World fan said you.
Center point because it will not match.
That's fine.
Another really interesting concept regarding circles in perspective is that the further they are away from us, the more they open up. So, for example, let's look at this circle from the side view, which is exactly at eye level or on the horizon line, and let's slowly move it further away from us without changing its rotation. What we'll see is that the further it gets away, the more it opens up. This way, we can, for example, dealing with cylinders, clearly determine which end is closer to us and which end is further away. Another example of this would be the car tires that are linked with the axes, and you can see the tire that's further away from us actually has a wider angle. At this point you're probably like, nice theory and all, but spare me the geometry lesson, I want to spin boxes. And right you are, here we go, so let's apply our knowledge. Okay. Let's start out with a guesstimated box, and to make things easier, let's use a 1-point perspective doing so. Once we found the perspective center point by using the X trick on our bottom plane, we are putting the toothpick through it and basically establishing our
Imagine dragons just followed.
So the next thing we know is that the edge points of our plane on the bottom will move on a circle in space. And we also know that the circle in space is best displayed as an ellipse. And additionally, we know that this ellipse, the y-axis of this ellipse, exactly falls on the axis of rotation. So let's get our ellipse in there. We also know that the center point of the ellipse does not match the perspective center point of the plane.
Okay.
So it varies. In this case, it's a little bit below the perspective center point. And we're getting in the ellipse that covers all those 4 edge points. And to close off our box rotation, we are also drawing the top ellipse. So the ellipse that describes the top plane and covers all the edge points of the top plane. Now, no matter how we rotate our box, we know those edge points are always moving on those two ellipses. Also, the opening of the angle of further away ellipses applies here. As you can see, the top ellipse is at a lower angle as the bottom ellipse, since the top ellipse is closer to us, it's closer to the horizon line, and the angle of the bottom ellipse opens up more. Notice also the roughness of the whole sketch. You will see that the ellipses are kind of off, they're not a perfect shape, and they're not mathematically correct. But they're completely enough to find out our initial angles and how the box roughly rotates in space. And that's basically all we want to do in this case. What I'm going to do next is establishing a basic rotation raster. This is another advantage of working with the ellipse or the circle in space, and it gives you great control of the actual degree you want to rotate the box.
Okay.
So in this case, we are going to look at the 2D version of the circle, segment it
IRRELEVANT said no offense to the guy, he's talking very slow. So I think it's also good since I can process the information he's putting in my dumb smooth brain, which I love a lot too. Popcorn, yellow striped smile pillow, turquoise, hot chocolate.
Perspective view. You will not necessarily need this when you're just guesstimating a box, but in my case, when I want to rotate the box in 360 degrees, it's helpful to rotate the box evenly. Please also be aware that this is probably not the correct way to segment a 2D circle into even parts. This is just a quick and convenient way for me to guesstimate the rotation raster. After this foundational work is done, the rest of the rotation is pretty straightforward. Basically, we are rotating our bottom plane, the edge points of our bottom plane, along our 30-degree raster. And once we found our new point, we are tracking its height and matching it up with the top plane ellipse. This way we can finish the rotation and we get the full box rotated. The hard part is a convenient way for me to guesstimate the rotation raster. After this foundational work is done, the rest of the rotation is pretty straightforward.
IRRELEVANT said I also love how he says that each place doesn't have to be perfect for it to work in perspective.
And once we found our new point, we are tracking its height and matching it up with the top plane ellipse. This way we can easily finish the rotation and we get the full box rotated. The hard part here really was the setup and getting in those ellipses.
Alright, so as far as I see it, he didn't really...
Wait a minute, you say this one is too slow? Well, yes and no. No?
Okay, so he actually didn't even focus too much on this. So we can probably get rid... Not get rid of it, but... It's supposed to keep it in check. So I'm going to assume... Here.
IRRELEVANT said I left 1 second of the live and just heard heaven sounds.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, and then... Huh. Okay. So maybe if I get rid of this. Right.
IRRELEVANT said the line that's straight always looks soft to me, loudly crying face emoji.
Yeah. So if I were to go here.
Dandy's World fan said hold on Ined.
So if I do it like this instead.
IRRELEVANT said I think it's also good flipping the canvas.
Let's see. Hold on. That's probably how it works.
Dandy's World fan said, hold on, I gotta need to post the drawing I was making while watching you.
Shit.
Anonymous Critter said, I think the two-circle technique is dud. One circle is good enough with a bit of intuition.
Yeah.
IRRELEVANT
I think the second-
said I'm actually using your TechQuine and it helped me a lot type.
I think that second... No problem. I think that second circle brings too much problems. And it makes it difficult to want to keep going because you have to keep that circle in check, and that's really annoying.
Dandy's World fan
I
said,
think it
BRB
muddies up the
post.
waters too much. So, like, let's do this again. Let's do it again. So we go even more further. Oh my god, dude. This fucking...
Brandon said more practice.
Exotikin says more practice. Fire.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Oh.
Brandon said, wish I had
Exoticon
your
says,
drive,
wish I
man.
had your drive, man.
I think
IRRELEVANT said, yeah, especially when you either make the inner circle too big or too small.
Okay, I think I figured it out. I think. So if I make a circle here and I stay, I think if I stay outside of the line, and then if I do it again, oh, now I see why the circle is very important. Okay. This is annoying. I swear to God, this is annoying. Okay.
In the past at college, I struggled with
asks, wait,
overusing
are
the
you
same
also
words
English?
again and again in my essays. I do a
Yes.
lot of writing and tool.
What is up, everyone? Today, avoid the complexity and just stay with the super long lens. Keep all of our lines parallel, and you're going to see why this is important. And even when it comes to the who cares, this is going to blow your mind. Why this is so important in the beginning stage of understanding box rotation. All right. So now that we have that out of the way, we have the complexity gone. We're going to be using our long lens parallel lines. Let's go into the simplified rotations and see what we need to know here. So for the first rotation and for all three of these, what we're going to be doing is we have our object set up here, and as you can tell, all our lines are parallel for the most part. What we're going to be doing for our three
No, get to the point.
which parallel lines,
Okay.
and you just have to trust it, right? All you have to do is to make sure that on every other image you draw in your rotation, you just keep these up and down lines in the same parallel direction as the ones you already have. Okay, all right, so we're going to do a rotation here now and show you how this works. So I'm swinging this around. So I'll put my first mark here because it's going to kind of swing around like that. So we know that it'll swing out, right? So remember parallel lines. So this one is like that. We got a parallel line. And now, where do the down arrows, the down lines go? Well, they go parallel to these ones. So we're going to go straight up and down. And you just have to
said
trust
half
it,
of the
right?
video is him talking about something entirely
Parallel
else than what he is trying to
And
teach.
parallel to here.
Hold on.
Straight up and down. Do another one. And my boxes apparently are slightly different widths. But again, straight up and down. Because it's parallel. And parallel to the top ones. If we have another one coming here. But now these lines will swing out. All your boxes. So if it's a rotation like this, you keep all
Anonymous
of your
critic said this is different.
lines
We need
going from front to
rotation in
back.
the same position.
Hey, what's up, Leron here. Thanks for joining me in another video. Now, if you're struggling with drawing things parallel, but rather at an angle, okay? Now, this corner is farther from us than this, okay? So corner, what do they call this? Corner little a and a little b. This is closer to us than this, okay? So, same thing goes here. We can't go parallel here. We have to squeeze it a bit. Here, squeeze it a bit there. So, what do we get here? This line is longer than this line. This line is longer than this line and this line, okay? This is how you put a cube into perspective. Now let's talk about the technical explanation for this, okay? I'm gonna show it to you right here.
Okay.
So basically I'll draw like this very small scene, and then what happens is we have vanishing points, okay? So we have 1, 2, and let's say 3 around here, outside of the frame. And what happens is, when we build the cube, it conforms to these vanishing points. So let's start with the corner here. It's this front corner that you saw here, okay? This side, I'm going to connect to this vanishing point. I'm going to connect to this vanishing point. And I'm going to connect to the one here below, okay? Now, look at what happens. So if I connect another line to this vanishing point and another line to this vanishing point, I essentially got some parts of the cube. Now I'm going to do the same for this line. See here? Or the box rather. It's not necessarily a cube. You see here? All of these lines conform to these vanishing points. So what do we get here? We get a line, another line, another line, another line, another line, another line, another one, and another one, and another one. And look at how much more dynamic this cube feels. We can actually tell that this corner is closer to us than this. Why? Our brains can interpret it because these lines converge like that. Same goes for this side. Now, we're looking at it from above. So what happens is this, okay, DC is going to be farther from us compared to AB. Why? Because instead of looking at it from the front, we're looking from above. So this is closer to us than this. So what happens to objects that are farther? They shrink. So it's not going to be the same length. It's going to be a little smaller. Now let's connect these two areas. Okay, so CD, like that. Now what happens to the other side of the cube? Because let me remind you, this is the front plane, okay? And actually, let's color it.
What's your real YouTube username?
Just to make it a little clearer. So this is the front plane, same here. It's the front plane. But now we also have the top plane showing, because if we look from above, you see this top plane. So here's our top plane. Now this line is closer to us than the farther part of the top plane. So what we get essentially is this kind of a thing.
Anonymous
you see here?
said try a tutorial focusing
Now that makes
on
sense. Now this should be shorter, okay, and messed up the proportions a bit. And this is something you have to eyeball because this is a square.
Okay.
I'm looking at it and it felt like this is longer than this. Okay, so I shortened it. Now it makes a little more sense. Now let's look at the other shape. So we have the same thing, A, B, C, D. So we have A, B, and they're connected. This is the only thing we basically know now. This is longer. So what will happen? It's going to be longer, but shorter here, okay? So again, DC is still shorter than AB, but these lines are longer. So instead of placing it here, we're going to place it here, for example, okay? It's not fully perfect measurements, but it is enough to give us some accuracy, okay? So here we go, and same goes for this side, okay? You see how this line is farther from us than this line, okay? This is something you have to learn how to do from observing objects. You do that, you practice it, you practice with anything that's cube-shaped in your vicinity, but then you have to learn how to do this from imagination, okay? I know it sounds tough for some people, but trust me, it is possible. So let me show you something else that's really cool. Imagine now that we're rotating this cube to the left, okay? We take this thing and we rotate it to the left. So what will happen? If we rotate it this way, what happens is C is going to become closer to us than D. So let's try portraying it. B will also be closer to us than A. So let's start with this line and just rotate it a bit, okay? So we have this line here, that's B, and that's C down here. Now, instead of this being a straight line, it moves away from us because we rotate it. So if it moves away from us, kind of like that, okay, that's D. Now, same goes for corner A. It moved away from us.
No, this is a foreshortening thing. No. I don't need to see this. This is foreshortening in its highest. It's not even a perspective thing. This is a foreshortening. He called it perspective with his foreshortening. I can do that that's easy to do. That's not something hard to do. All you're doing is what's less is what's distant, and what's more is what's close. So like, I just realized it was like, bro, you're okay. So what he's doing is basically, if you draw less, and then if I do it again, or like, and then if I want to see more, and then if I want to see more,
Dandy's World Fan said irrelevant. Dandy's World Fan.
that's what he's doing. I get that. I already know that. We're trying to be more accurate with it. That's the point of this whole thing.
Talking to
rotating boxes, let's have a look at how a master uses rotation. If we look at this drawing by Kim Young-gi, you'll see that
Kim Jong-il, you guys hear me mention him many times.
Perspective is a pretty important subject. If we decrease the opacity and draw boxes around some of these figures, you'll see that even those figures align with the perspective. But there are some elements that are a bit rotated, like the head of this bunny soldier, this guy, and this one. And maybe some other things, but most of the drawing is aligned with the yellow perspective grid. Which means in a drawing, you don't need everything to be rotated to give it a dynamic feeling. Just rotating one or two things will go a long way. So how do we rotate a box? Let's look at the science. There are two main things to consider. First and foremost is the axis, or center of rotation, which you can find by drawing a cross on the top plane from the corners, indicated by this red line. If we highlight the corners of this box and draw an ellipse using those points, you'll see this ellipse helps us in rotating this box. But first, there's another thing we need to take into account, and that's X, Y, and Z. In school, you might have heard of X and Y during math. You know, the thing we use to plot lines and graphs and whatnot. Z is the third dimension that creates depth. A great example of using 2 or 3 dimensions is the Mario. This is Super Mario Bros. In 2D and only using X and Y. And this is Super Mario 3D World. The name already implies it, they're using 3 dimensions, X, Y, and Z. But let's get back to our box. Here we can find X, Y, and Z by looking at the edges. This is X, this is Y, and this is Z. You can see that the center of rotation is similar to Y. So if we use this ellipse to rotate the box, X and Z will change and Y will stay the same. For example, if we rotate the corners of our box clockwise along this ellipse and connect them, you'll see that this plane is already rotated.
Cora _ said tongue.
There we go. Alright.
Anonymous critter said, yep, one ellipse is enough for rotation, second one for superhuman accuracy.
Okay. Let's see. Motherfucker. Okay. So if I wanted to put...
Dandy's World fan said I posted my art.
Okay. Huh. I actually like this method more.
To Freeze said hi.
Hello. Okay. Just to make...
Dandy's World fan said I'm to make another 1-2 post.
Cool.
We can find X, Y, and Z by looking at the edges. This is X, this is Y, and this is Z. You can see that the center of rotation is similar to Y. So if we use this ellipse to rotate the box, X and Z will change and Y will stay the same. For example, if...
So if I do... It's the same thing I did earlier. So I think it's like... Let's remove all this real quick. So if I did this like this, okay, and then I went like, it's not a good square. It has to be a better square than that. So 1, 2. Let's say like, put it this way: 1, 2. And you go 1, 2. Oop. 2. Okay. And then we erase the sides here. Okay. Alright, so I'll do it this way. I'll do it backwards. So I'll delete this. I'll just use a line and use a vector instead. Oh wait, no, don't do that yet. Do this here, go to here. Okay.
Dandy's world fan said gonna stay tuned, but got a dash for a second. Catch
Okay,
you
do your
later.
thing. Alright, do your thing, bro. Oops. Alright, there's your rotated box. To a certain degree. What we were rotating the box, but rotating the box actually is the easiest thing, believe it or not. That's actually easy to do. The problem I'm having is that we wanted to make it as accurate as possible. So if I made a square, like it's easy to rotate it. It doesn't matter even if it's from different angles. It could be foreshortening. It could be like this. Because I learned this like this. So like if you make a if you make a line and use drawbox methods like this, and then you do it like this. Oops. And then you do it like this. And then you do it like this. Like frame by frame, you're starting to visually see that it is rotating as we go.
IRRELEVANT said Wocool Tech winked like a snake. Or a dinosaur's tail.
And then you just kind of like oops, okay. Oops. Where's Aaron? Let's see here. Like rotating a box is not hard. It's just keeping
Aaron
it
Knights, I
accurate.
said I'm here lurking. Bright
Close says, Aaron, you there?
IRRELEVANT said yeah.
So here's a little quirk of
Aaron Knights, I said I've been in and out of stream, but I'm here.
I wanna say happy birthday to you. I wanna say happy birthday to you. Oh, happy birthday to you. I wanna say happy birthday to you.
Geniando la princesa, okay, see my TV.
Make that wish. Go. Make that wish. Make that wish. And make that wish. Please. I'm I wanna say I believe Happy birthday, Ari! Happy birthday, Ari! Aw. Let's go! That's for Ari. That probably woke up everybody. I'm not gonna lie, that probably woke up everyone.
IRRELEVANT said happy birthday, Ari.
Happy birthday, Ari. Happy birthday. That probably woke up everyone now. Everyone was like kind of like getting bored.
The sunrise said let's do happy birthday, Aaron.
Oh man, I'm glad that she was still here because that woke up everyone, woke me up.
Aaron Ikes, I said thank you, Teachy.
No problem, hon. Let's go. Okay. So rotating a box isn't hard. This is something I learned from Drawbox. It's the frame. I call it the gesture frame method. Is
Aaron
when
Ikes, I said thank you, Brian.
you keep going down the line.
IRRELEVANT said I love this so much.
So like the thing here is like this is going down a certain pathway, and as we're going down the pathway, we change the frame of the cube as we go. So it feels like it's curving its way, and you have to make sense of it. You can't just put random squares. You have to make sense of the next frame. This is a great way, I think, to get animators to look at things in a particular way with arcs and the idea of frames and how it would present itself frame by frame by frame by frame. This is a great method for form, gesture, frames, probably even timing, rotation. But it doesn't really focus a lot on accuracy, so that's where that problem comes in, unless you're using like a horizon line. But since we're not using a horizon line in this particular thing, I think this would have looked a lot better if we use a horizon line. So this is where the rotation and horizon problem is coming in. So that's what I'm trying to
IRRELEVANT said do. Box said hello.
Okay, so I think I don't think we need this. You said animation rotation. So let me check. I think animation rotation is where we need to. I think we was gonna do composition first, but I think if we just knock out the big problem, the perspective problem out of the way, composition will be like super easy at that point. Because if we can understand just making the perspective work, so like for instance, we can use perspective in this particular way if we're using like 1 point perspective alone, right? And we're also doing thumbnails, so we're doing several things at once. So we're learning composition, perspective, thumbnailing, and accuracy. Oh, perspective and accuracy.
IRRELEVANT said yes, we can't do a part 2 of something we don't know part 1.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna mainly focus a lot on perspective for a while, and then we'll move on to composition, because actually composition is actually the foundation of your whole drawing. If we're just talking about drawing, if you're trying to make a great drawing, the first thing you should do before you do the perspective, before you do the gesture lines, the gesture anything, the first thing you need to do is establish what will your composition be. Because if you know your composition, that's half the battle. And then I think the first thing you do is get the composition correct. Correct in the sense of what you're picking of a composition. What is the focus? Plan out what it is. So composition is planning and framing. And then the next thing is the perspective. Know what your perspective is based on that composition. Once you know it's like first, third, fourth, fifth perspective, and then once you select what perspective you on, then you start applying the object, the subject, as in like your character, a person, a weapon. I don't know what the scene is, right? Because you get a lot out of that, even if it's just a black and white background. Just establish the floor first, and then everything will fall into place. Now, anatomy will be important in this specific situation, but not in the very beginning. If you're very good at anatomy, or at least making characters, this won't be a big problem. But if you struggle making characters, no matter how well the perspective is, if you can't construct the body, it's going to be really, or you don't know how to layer a body or do foreshortening, it's going to be really frustrating. So I suggest the first thing you should learn is the 8 fundamentals, and then go to perspective as a whole and composition. And then I think color theory should be the last thing you worry about. The last thing that anyone should worry about is color theory. When I say color theory, I'm not talking about colors, I'm talking about values. Once you have established lines in the sense of how to construct something, just composition, perspective, and constructing bodies with just lines alone, then you can go and do values, and then you can align yourself with the color theory thing. Because color theory could be, it's a beast on its own, in its own complex way, depending on scene, focus, and all that stuff. It's a bunch of stuff. So when you're doing your composition alongside your perspective, what is the focus? So like if I was drawing a character down here, so say I'm drawing a character that's very like actiony, like this, and they're showing off their sword, like this, like they're about to fight, or they're pulling off they're pulling off their finger. Let's put their finger. Say their fingers, they're pointing at something, right?
IRRELEVANT said, may I know which is the first thing to learn, second, third, and so on, so I can know what to learn to A to Z.
Okay, so if you're trying to just do characters, but you don't care for backgrounds, and if you're just trying to make it like a character, like if you're trying to make like a standing character, like a OC or something, but you're not trying to do no dynamic poses like that, learn the 8 fundamentals, which is gesture. No, actually, no, I'm saying it wrong. Shape, gesture, form. Oh, I said that wrong. Fuck. Shape, form, gesture, I would say foreshortening. What is it? Gesture, I think foreshortening. Then balance. Balance, meaning flipping your canvas. That's literally what that means. Then perspective. If this is about characters and making an OC, perspective. This ultimately will be about anatomy. So just to be clear, all these 8 fundamentals will cover 2 things: anatomy and art style. So if you master perspective, what was it? I did put composition in there. Composition. And proportions. Not in this particular order. It's in this order. The reason why I put proportions last is because a lot of people do this wrong. You can draw a character proportionally correct, but if they're lacking life and gesture, you just wasted your time. So you can draw the most accurate looking character ever, right? You can draw the hands correct, and the anatomy correct. And all that
Anonymous
stuff.
Critter said someone should make an anagram for these 8 fundamentals to make it easier to remember.
I will make a YouTube video on this. I will have to make YouTube videos on these things, not just make a live stream, but I will have to find a day to do this. So shape, form, gesture, foreshortening, balance, perspective,
said type.
composition, and proportions. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the 8. Okay. These are the golden 8. Once you master these 4 characters, I'm not even talking about when I say composition, just to make something clear. When I say perspective and composition, it's the accuracy on how you are framing your character. Both of them. You're framing your character, whether it's a blank slate, like a literal blank background like this. There's no real horizon. It's just this blank slate, like how I make my sketches when I make them pretty fast. I'm not visualizing a horizon line at all. I'm not trying to be accurate. I'm just trying to get the pose. So, you know, that's what, there's a difference between the two. It's a slight difference, but it's a difference enough to make a difference when I say this. So when I say perspective, I'm talking about the accuracy of your foreshortening based on the perspective you're trying to convey to your audience alongside the composition of the piece, right? The proportions comes last, like I said, because if you do the proportions first, the character is going to look really robotic and boring. This is why in animation, specifically in animation, they'll tell you to exaggerate more. The more exaggeration, the more lifelike it becomes. Alongside accuracy of proportions.
IRRELEVANT said R.
So like for instance, you can watch, if you watch the production of Kill la Kill, or Kill la Kill, or what's the other show? Little Witch Academia. There's a whole documentary of it's being made by college students alongside Netflix and how it became X, Y, and Z. And then you can see how
Choco said exaggerate these hands.
you get you can exaggerate how exaggeration brings more interest into your characters. So that's one thing you could say, or so. So point of this is that this is constructing just a person or a character. It's not really framing and backgrounds and any of that stuff. This is just for the character, the physical person itself, whether it's a monster, a soldier, a witch, it doesn't matter, or a dog, or a creature, or whatever, or a Pokemon, it doesn't matter. That's what this is. And then once you master these 8 things, you actually cover these things right here, the anatomy and the art style at the same exact time. Because with enough practice, because 2D shape, shape is 2D. Form is 3D. Gestures is flow. Flow as in the action itself, not the accuracy of the body. The literal verb. So like for instance, the gesture. So when your teacher says your gesture is off, what they're saying is the action that the character is doing seems quite stiff. Okay? They're not saying the accuracy of the leg looks off. They're not even saying the accuracy of the arm, the face. They're not saying that. They're saying the action, the verb itself is off looking and stiff. Okay? Foreshortening is literally like depth perception, balance.
IRRELEVANT said O.
Balance is flipping the canvas. So when I say balance, you're flipping the canvas. It's very important to flip the canvas so you don't have that one leaning character, because some of us must know, you know what I'm talking about. If you draw a character and it seems right after hours of drawing it, and then when you flip it, the face looks so wonked out, it looks like, what the hell? And then when you flip it back, it looks normal. That means what's happened is that your eyes has got so adjusted to the character that you was drawing on that side for so long that when you flip it, you can see the problems with it. So whenever you're doing a drawing, flip the canvas, because if I flip these, if you flip these characters right now, if I were to flip these characters, oops, turn that thing off way too much. If I were to flip this character right now, she's gonna look a little wonky, or she's gonna look accurate, either one. Now, I would frequently flip them a lot to break your visual cue on it. So if it looks good both ends, then it's right. If it looks exactly the same as if it was on the other side, you did the right thing. That's how you know. So if you're gonna ask me, how do I know it's right? If it looks exactly like how it is, how you drew it, it is correct. Once you flip it and you see something that seems off or makes you feel uncomfortable, there is something wrong with the drawing. It's a lot like when you write a sentence. I learned this back in college. My English professor said this to me. He said, if you can't read the sentence the first time, something's wrong with the sentence. If you can't read the sentence the first time with which accuracy and flow on the first try, and you have to stop and it's throwing you off, something's wrong with the sentence. The structure of the sentence is off. So it's like that. So flipping the canvas is very important. Flip the canvas. I mentioned this on TikTok. It will be coming out tomorrow on drawing heads and all that stuff. It will be on YouTube Shorts.
Anonymous Critter said, can you show how to draw an ellipse around a square? I just can't get it right.
Around a square?
IRRELEVANT said, Ty, you also helped with making essays too, thank you.
So like, if you're saying like, if you're talking about, wait, are you talking about the circle thing? Like if I make a circle, I put a square. Do 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're like 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's how you rotate your circle. So like circle. It's a little wonky because I'm not using an accurate circle. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you flip here. And you
Anonymous Critter said, not rotation. Just draw a square, then draw an ellipse around it.
Oh, like this?
IRRELEVANT said in the most polite way possible, but what the hell is that grinning face with big eyes emoji?
What? What the hell is that? Wait a minute. What the hell is what? So like ellipse, like, oop, almost get that. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then
IRRELEVANT said, I haven't saw that in my life.
what's that? Is that what you're talking about? Like make it more 3D? That's what I'm guessing. Or like ellipse around a circle. Make a head. I think that's what you're asking, unless I'm not getting it. Perspective is literally accuracy, and then composition is framing your character. So when I say framing your character, it's a lot like what we did with like, okay, so like I take this, I make this really, really big, right? Right? And then what I'll do is that my accuracy
IRRELEVANT said, you're a very good teacher, thank you.
No problem, because like the point of this, when I say perspective and accuracy, is that we want to make sure that when you're drawing the character in foreshortened form, that everything is flowing or sitting in a place that it seems natural or believable, right? So what I mean by this is that there's a bit of foreshortening to a certain degree with this arm here and this arm here. Because since the arm is going up, we're going to foreshorten this here and this here. So there's here and here. Okay? And then we are also, this back is kind of overlapping this arm. So we're seeing less of this arm. And we're seeing more of this arm. So that gives it the illusion that there's something behind while this is getting smaller. So the perspective, what we're looking for accurately is that it's not the lining, it's not the doing the line thing. The perspective, when I say this, I'm talking about the horizon line in general. No VP, none of that, no lines everywhere. I'm talking about under the gaze of where the horizon line would be located if we were to do the VP. And to answer this question, I can see the top of here, but I can see straight from here. I can't see the top of here and top of here. I see it, I see the shoulder, but I can't see on top of it. It's literally on top of it, like if it was like a bird-eyes view. And since I can't see the bird-eye view over the breast, over the shoulder, over the head, over the nose, over the ears, over the, I don't know, even the arms, it stops right here. Wherever I can see on top of, like surface level I'm talking about, on the surface, I can see all this. Since I can see all this in the sense of I can see on top of it by just standing, my eye level's here because I'm directly looking at the back. There's no top and there's no bottom. I'm looking directly at it. So because I'm directly seeing the face, it's not like swear word, I'm directly seeing the face. Therefore, the horizon line stops here. So let me use another example. So you can't confuse.
IRRELEVANT said O.
So like, let's use this. This one's a lot more simpler. The horizon line stops about, I would say, it's pretty neutral. It's still back in the middle because I'm not seeing directly on top of it. I can see the breast, but I can't see on top of the breast or on top of the shoulders. And when I say this, what I mean by this, and let me draw it out for you guys so you know what I'm talking about. So when I say on top, because a lot of people might get this confused and say, I can see the top of it. What are you talking about? What I'm talking about is, if I were to redraw this.
Anonymous Critter said we could think of it like a bunch of boxes stacked on top of each other.
Exactly. So like this is what I'm talking about. The shoulders are here and the breast is here. Ooh, like this. Okay. The breast is here. This is the top of the head. The breasts are here. These are the breasts. This is the arm. And the body is, you can't see except the feet. Because the body, the breast, literally covers up the stomach and everything from the top of the head. This is the hair and everything. Okay? So when I say on top, I can't see the top of the head or see the top of the shoulder. That's what I mean. As a bird. Like literally flying over their head. Okay? Even from a distance. Let me use an example.
IRRELEVANT said OHHH.
So like this drawing right here.
IRRELEVANT said you're amazing.
So like like these drawings right here. Even though the person's hunched their shoulder, even if they was standing normally, I can see the top of their head, the top of their ear, the top of their shoulder. You can literally see the collarbone from downwards on it. If I can see down on top of your head, that means the horizon line is over your head. Like the box thing I said earlier.
Dandy's World fan said I'm gonna be back later.
Okay, so like the box. If the horizon line, if the character or subject.
Dandy's World fan said bye. Bye.
Later, if our box, and I don't need to make a VP. It's literally just common sense at this point now.
IRRELEVANT said this is helping so much.
There we go. So this is what I'm talking about. So right here we have we can
Sly
see.
Boy said hello.
Hello. We can see the bottom of the top box. We can see the top of the bottom box. So whenever I say we're looking from a top-down view, what I'm saying is we're looking from a top-down view, our body is from up in the sky. Our eyes is looking down. So like this is a bottom up view. Our subject, us, are at the bottom. We're looking at our subject, it's at top. Our visual eyes are looking at top. So we're at bottom because we're bottom of the horizon line. And because we're at the bottom of the horizon line, we're looking upwards because we're at a mouse's view. Because a mouse doesn't need to look down. He's literally touching the floor. So every time a mouse is on the floor, it's always looking up 9 times out of 10. So like a bird in the sky is never looking up, it's already in the sky.
IRELEVANT asks, so I act like the subject is like under me?
No, you only act
Emmy
like...
asks, hi Teach, how are you?
Hello, hon. Hello, Emmy. I'm doing well, just teaching today. I'm getting free lessons today. If any questions now, get your questions in now, Emmy. No, so whenever the subject, like I said earlier, whenever the subject is under the horizon line, whenever it's a golden rule. You can do this every time. You'll win at this every time. So
Walter.via says, what app do you use? Frisbee asks, what app do you use?
Clip Studio Paint. Right here and right here. So like if I put down here and then just the subject. If I put a
Ryuga Samurai said Clip Studio Paint.
Clip Studio Paint. So we can see the top and we can see the bottom. All right, every time, no matter what angle I draw it from, it's going to be top. It's going to be at the top, and we can always see the bottom, but we can never see the top of our subject. So, because they're over the horizon line. It's the same pattern every time. It never changes. It never changes. This is what's great about this perspective thing. There is a pattern to see. Once you figure out the pattern, it's not scary and not hard anymore. It doesn't change whenever it wants to. It only changes based on the horizon line that you place it at. The horizon line dictates everything. Your horizon line is your best friend. Once you know what the horizon line is, everything works. Everything works, everything falls into place, everything's accurate once you know where the horizon line is. Once you know where that is, no matter how many dots, we can have thousands of dots on this thing, because as long as those dots are on that horizon line, you'll be perfectly fine. So that's the point. So at top, we can see the bottom. So horizon is over. At bottom, we can see the top. Our horizon is at bottom. And then here, the subject, if the subject is literally on the horizon line, we don't see neither top nor bottom. They're neutral.
IRRELEVANT said, I am making one human using this and IT helps so much. Holy.
No problem.
Emily said, well, I wanted to say hi and see how you were. See you later, have fun teaching and have a good night.
No problem, hon. It's lovely having you here every time you come in. You're a valued member here, so thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Emmy. Let's go, Emmy. Let's go. Oh, also it's Ari's birthday, so let's go, Ari and Emmy. Let's go. Happy birthday, hon. And thank you, Emmy. I'll see you in a bit, hon. All right. Let's get this. So I hope that answers all the questions for those. So let me see a pop quiz. Let's do a pop quiz right now.
IRRELEVANT said, Emmy, happy birthday.
I'm gonna make this a little hard. So we're gonna put the horizon line on a slant. If I were to put a box here, Are we seeing down on the box, or are we seeing up on the box? Are we seeing down on the box, or are we seeing up on the box? Actually, I'll put two of them.
Robot,
Water.
water
VR says down.
VR. Frisbee asks down.
Bok
asks down.
Water says down. Who else? Anyone else?
IRRELEVANT said 1 second.
Okay.
Ryuga Samurai said up.
Okay, they say up. Okay.
Bok said wait. IRRELEVANT said down.
Okay. Alright. If I were
Bok said I meant top lol, got confused for a second.
I know, it does that.
IRRELEVANT said wait.
you wanna
IRRELEVANT said no top.
Okay, so
IRRELEVANT said WTH.
Maybe I said it weird. Are we looking down on top of our box, or are we looking at the top of the box, or are we looking under the box? Let me say it that way. Maybe I should rephrase that because it might confuse people. Are we looking on top of the box, or are we looking from under the box? On number 2 and 1. On number 2, are we looking on top or under?
IRRELEVANT said oh. Bok said you look at the top.
Okay. Buck says top. Anyone else? You want to change your... Are you guys locked in your answer?
IRRELEVANT said yeah.
Okay.
Robot.
Water, Dog Beer says how much is your Apple Pen or whatever it is.
Is XP...
IRRELEVANT said I agree.
It's a...
Ryuga Samurai said 1 down, 2 up.
Okay. So, it's a XP Pen E22. Link in bio if you're looking for it. The Amazon link is in the link. If you're on TikTok, you can click on the link. It takes you to it. It's in my link tree. It literally says that. My stuff. It literally labels that so you can't miss it. And there's other... In my Artextric store, there's other tablets like this. And for you to get this, you have to get the tablet to get the pen. It doesn't... You can't get it separate. Anyway, so to answer the question for number 2, we are looking at the top, and that was correct for those who picked top, because we're looking at the top of it because it's under the horizon line. So we all can guess what the top one is. We're looking from the bottom. And let me see. We're looking at the bottom. And this one's the top. It's always the same pattern.
Water. VR says I thought you said, are you looking down or up at it?
No, that's why I rearranged what I said, because I know it probably was going to confuse people. Now let's use something a little bit more challenging, just to see if you guys really get it. I'm going to use something pretty challenging. I'm going to pull something right now. Hold on. Something with a little bit more oomph. Just to see if you guys understand. Okay. Instead of me drawing it out, maybe it's best if I just show you. Okay, I think this can work. Actually, let's use this one. All right, for those who are looking at this dynamic pose here, if I were to draw this, where would the horizon line be located? Will it be at the top, or will it be at the bottom? Will it be in the middle? There's 3 sections, so you guys can say middle, you guys can say top, or you guys can say bottom. Where would this horizon line be placed at on this character to know if it's right? Box says bottom. Relevant says wait. Oh, and this thing's not reading it. There we go.
IRRELEVANT said wait. IRRELEVANT said yes. Ryuga Samurai said, let's go.
Okay.
Robot, water underscore VR, Frisbee, said, I thought you said, are you looking down or up at it? IRRELEVANT said, so under the horizon line is top while the one that's above horizon line is down.
Okay, the horizon...
Alex said, dude, I just found this like 3 minutes ago and it's helping a lot.
No problem, but...
IRRELEVANT said, I love quizzes like these.
The question is...
IRRELEVANT said, we are the mouse.
Where would the horizon line be? The line that we use.
IRRELEVANT said, wait.
Where would the...
Artcuddy said, bottom.
Where would the horizon line that we use
Samurai said, bottom.
to make our
Alex
dictations...
said, bottom, BC, we see top.
Where would it be?
IRRELEVANT said, I feel like it is.
Okay, let me pull it back.
Robot, water underscore VR, Frisbee, asks what is the question?
The question is, where would...
IRRELEVANT said, down.
Where would the horizon line be located for this pose to work?
Box said, damn, how do you not go crazy with the alerts being read out loud like that?
No, I know.
Artcuddy said, bottom.
Okay. Arcuddy says, bottom? Is everyone locked in the bottom or top?
Alex said, FR.
Okay. It's I don't know, it doesn't bother me as much. It just makes it easier so I don't
Box said, yep. Ryuga Samurai said, bottom. IRRELEVANT said, wait.
Relevance is wait. This is why I give you guys time. Okay. Let's see.
IRRELEVANT said, NGL.
So where would this be?
IRRELEVANT said, bottom.
Bottom, okay. Alright. So let's see what is the right answer. So, for those of you who picked bottom,
IRRELEVANT said it's hard to see it without drawing the horizon line.
I know, that's what makes this fun. It like you have to always imagine a invisible horizon line at all costs. Alright, so for those of you who picked bottom.
Alex said, wait, hear me out, it's slightly slanted.
It is slanted. But it still follows in the same rules.
IRRELEVANT said, yeah.
The horizon line is at the bottom. The reason why the horizon line is at the bottom is because we cannot see the top of the head. We can't see the top of the shoulder. We can't see the top of the sword.
IRRELEVANT said yes.
We can't even see the top of the head.
Water, Dr. R says, I am going to go.
Okay, Water. Thank you for coming.
Robot, water underscore VR, Frisbee, said I am going to go.
Okay.
IRRELEVANT said exactly.
We can't see.
IRRELEVANT said we are the mouse.
The only thing we can
Robot,
see
water underscore VR,
here,
Frisbee, said but.
Here.
Robot, water underscore VR, Frisbee, said bye.
Actually, quite frank, we're having a hard
More
time even
said.
seeing the sneakers. I would say it's a bit lower than that. Even more lower. I didn't give it too much credit. So it's here, here, here. We can't see the top of the hip. Shit, we can't even see the top of the elbow. We can see just enough.
IRRELEVANT said yeah.
We can't see here.
Q said hi.
We're seeing somewhere around here. It's much lower.
Q asks, do you play Dress to Impress?
I don't know what that is. So like here, 1, 2, and here. That's what's happening. Because remember,
he said we are the mouse.
If I were to...
Well, asks, but shouldn't it be lower since we can't see on top of the shoes?
Yes, that's what I said. I even saw that too. That's why I said, but this is even more lower than I gave it credit. That's why I got rid of it. It's actually more lower. It's probably lower down here. The reason what throws everything off is because it's purposely did this on purpose for the composition. It's purposely, this is what the thing's supposed to look like.
Alex asks, so the less we view from the shot makes up the line, and from the upper view we can see to the hair.
Correct. See, this is what she's supposed to be standing like. And because we're standing like this, we see less of the shoes. We can't even see the shoes all that well. So that the horizon line, so we can't see, the horizon line. This is gone. Can't see top of this. And the only reason we can see the top of this is because it's right down towards our face. But if we was normal, nah, can't see the top of this, can't see the top of this, 90 the elbow. The horizon line is more lower than I'm giving it credit for. It's much lower than what it is. Because to prove this, the face itself will help. So like if I made a box right now, of her face. Actually, this will actually go off. Sadly, this will go off the screen. It's not even gonna work like that. So like if we was to make this super accurate, I have to make this really small, right? And because of that, I have to kind of draw it this way. It will go off like this, and that's how you would know. I know it's hard to see. I'm gonna zoom in for you guys. Don't worry, I got you. So that's how it would be. How would it be if we was doing this accurately? The box will actually go off far kilter from where it is.
Got you.
Off the screen itself. That does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It does happen. It happens more often than you think. A lot of great anime composition and with a bunch of like perspective and stuff usually go off the canvas. This is why we thumbnail.
IRRELEVANT said, I love these tests, really are fun and teach us a lot.
Good, because this is why we thumbnail and we make it like this. We make it outside because when we do it like this, the box not only sits into the thumbnail, but it looks a lot more presentable than us putting it in the box itself and starting it here, and then it looks all distorted and strange and blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do that. So we put the box in the thumbnail. We make it very offshoot off the thing right here, from off the literal scene that you're seeing, and as we pull it, it looks a lot better because it goes off both screens and it makes it a lot better to see what we're trying to do. All right, so that's important. So we'll do one more. I'll look for one more pose. I'm gonna see.
IRRELEVANT said, oh.
Let me see. I'll look for something a little bit more challenging than that.
IRRELEVANT said this helps a lot.
If you guys like what you see, please follow. I'm going to be making some new tutorials very, very soon to address these problems so that we don't always have to keep doing this on stream. I'm going to make videos, so if you're looking forward to those videos and you can't be a student for whatever reason, whatever you don't want to pay, it's perfectly fine. It's YouTube. So if you want to get the information you need to improve,
Ritsuki said face purple wide eyes.
Please subscribe. It does help, and it does make it easier for me to do this full time, so I can do this and make as many videos and help you guys and answer your questions and all that great stuff. So please follow me on YouTube, please, whether you're on TikTok or whatever the case may be, because TikTok's gonna be gone anyway. So might as well follow on YouTube. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna get one that's really hard. I know one.
Ritsuki said, do you have X? Alex asks, so in a sense it is like the light theory where a fixed point is used or not?
So in a sense it's like light theory where a fixed point is used or not. I'm not really familiar with light theory too much.
IRRELEVANT said, thank you, loudly crying face emoji in the poor teenager, and these helps a lot.
No problem.
If I ever get my own money, I'll make sure to give smile.
No, it's perfectly fine. It's good. Okay, let me see. I think this one will be fun. This one will be kind of cool, I think. It's gonna be hard, but let me see. Alright, let's use this one. This one's not anime, but it still falls in the same situation, so it doesn't have to be anime. Alright, let's go with our boy Spidey.
IRRELEVANT asks one question. Is light theory just remembering the lights, or is there something to learn it?
One question, is light theory just remembering the lights, or is there something to learn? I'm not familiar with light theory too much. If it comes to light theory, I'm pretty sure it's just the behavior of light. So like light theory comes in along like with values, I believe. So like if a light is coming through a window, even though the whole room may not be lit, there's bounce light, reflective. Oh, bounce light, reflect light, pretty much the same thing. Depending if anything in there is reflective too, like a I don't know, like a flask or something, that might play in the part of that. But it's a lot of factors when it comes to light, depending on what the scene is. Okay, so this one's gonna be.
Box said top one we can see the bottom, the two under we can see the top.
Let me see. We can see the bottom, we can't see the top. So what does that spell out?
Box said wait.
Think about it.
Box said forget it.
That's why I picked this one. This is a little bit tricky because it throws you off a little bit. We're doing the top one.
IRRELEVANT said wait.
Take
Box
your
said
time.
I'm dyslexic, bro.
It's all right. Take your time. I'm gonna zoom in for you guys.
IRRELEVANT said we can see his head.
True.
Art Cuddy said I'm scared. IRRELEVANT said but we are looking up.
We technically are looking up. But that's this one's gonna be like, okay. So let me ask you guys this question.
Box said the top one and the left one we say the top.
Okay, for the top one, I have a question.
Well.
I have a question. For the top one, what perspective is
Box
this?
said no.
Is this first perspective, second perspective, or third perspective?
Box said I meant bottom. Alex said so like imagine a light bulb and it's lighting the middle of a dark room, and then imagine a box, so depending on how close it is shading changes. Sorry for yapping.
No, it's
Box said damn it.
What perspective is this? Is this first, second, or third?
IRRELEVANT said I'm a do not ask me that.
What perspective is this? Is this first, second, or third perspective? Does anyone have any idea? Is it first, second, or third? Anyone?
Rachel Flores just followed.
It's alright, if you're wrong.
IRRELEVANT said wait. Alex said top trust.
Okay, saying top.
IRRELEVANT said not the chat being silent.
It's okay. Even this throws me off a little bit. I'll give you my, I think, based on what I'm seeing.
Ritsuki said is it second.
Actually, what I'm seeing, I don't think it's second perspective. And I don't think it's third. Honestly, I believe it's kind of it's first perspective.
Bok asks third. IRRELEVANT said wait.
It's
Maliki Walker said third. IRRELEVANT said bottom. Ryuga Samurai said looking down. Bok asks K.
I believe it's first perspective to a certain degree. Or it could be third, but I believe it's first perspective based on how the construction of the buildings are. I could be wrong.
Ritsuki asks 1 point perspective.
Yeah.
IRRELEVANT said wait.
The reason why I'm saying this is because when you don't know a scene,
IRRELEVANT said bottom I think.
it's like if you don't know a scene you're not sure what the perspective is, you use the objects around the character to make an educated guess. So like for instance, we'll take this building and we go all the way up, right? And we'll take another building, we'll take the same building and see where it, once we see the line and it hits the line that hits it right there, we can kind of tell where our horizon, oh.
IRRELEVANT said top.
That.
IRRELEVANT said tip.
Let's see here, and then like here. So most our
Reed
vanishing
Sukiyu
points.
said we look for the lines intersect.
Yes, they intersect right
Reed
there.
Sukiyu said lines that intersect.
So I believe this is a form of first perspective because it all shoots right there. We're not even looking up at this point anymore. We're kind of just looking straight ahead. Does that make sense? And then the lines that are like this are just, it's a lot like when I make, let me see, like that, and then, what's this? This is another, that's another horizon line, I think. So it's like that, and then we make these lines like this. So it can fall under probably third perspective, but I ultimately believe it is first perspective. I could be wrong. I'm not good at everything, but I could be wrong. I feel like it's first.
IRRELEVANT said I'm making imaginary lines in my head and I think it's top.
Oh yeah,
Bob said I think I get it.
For the horizon.
Alex asked, so like from someone else's first person view?
Yes. At that point. Actually, quite frank, it's in first person view, and since Peter is literally flying up in the air.
Dot said pensive.
Oxford says I don't understand perspective and horizon lines.
I understand.
IRRELEVANT said OHH.
So
Freeze said hello.
So like, okay, so let me explain something here. Because Peter's perspective is going this way, I would say it's like he's standing. Like let's put it this way. So like if Peter was standing and he was looking down, say we was drawing Peter right here, right? And his feet was here. Like standing, if he was just standing looking down, it would be first perspective. In that sense, if he was just standing on like the floor, right? And the horizon line, actually, it's not top nor bottom. This dead center is actually middle. I know that probably is confusing for most of you, but that is actually what's happening here.
IRRELEVANT
you
said
have to look at it in a sense of when there's a tilting that is happening.
IRRELEVANT said sheet.
So like, okay, so
IRRELEVANT said O.
With the drawing here,
said O, I kinda get it.
If
IRRELEVANT said tie.
Okay, so the drawing here is that because there is a tilting, when you feel like there's a tilt in your head, like if you was a mouse, right? You know you're gonna tilt your head up. So there is a shift. There's a shift that is happening, okay? But with something like this, with Peter here, Spider-Man, there's not much of a tilt. We're looking directly at the sky. So it's coming more like, I think, as a first-person view. And what's happening based on Peter's perspective, I would say it's actually quite neutral for him. It's not high nor low, because we can't...
WRXLODS says, how do you know how high or low your horizon line should be?
It's because of our visualization of... let me put it this way. I just explained this earlier. So, like, we can't see the top of the head, like, literally on top of the head.
Kinda said, is there a wrong way to draw the horizon
is there a
line?
wrong way to draw the horizon line?
Yeah, just make it... You mean placing it or drawing it? Because it's always just a straight line. It's always forever going to be a straight line. It doesn't curve or... Well, no, that's a lie. Objects curve, but it always falls back to the horizon line that is straight. So that happens. So, like, to know where our horizon line, for those who didn't hear this, is that I can't see the top of the shoulder. I can't see the top of the sword. I can see the sword. I can see her head. I can see her hair, but I can't see the top of her scalp. Okay? That's the difference. And because I can't see the top of her scalp, I can't see the top of her... Like, if you're having a hard time in the sense of seeing the top of something like the elbow, and it's not naturally being seen, then you can't see it normally. So therefore, I can't see the top of her kneecaps, because what makes this funny is that I can't see the top of her shoelaces. And because I can't see the top of her shoelaces, like the tongue here, normally, I can directly see, I'm directly seeing her, the back of her heels normally. That means the horizon line is here. And remember, originally, the artist who made this made sure that the drawing was on a slant. This was the original way the drawing was. It was on a slant.
IRRELEVANT said yeah.
And because it was on a slant, it throws your whole... This is why in movies, if you watch enough movies, you can learn this in movies as well. You don't have to be an artist. This is why they take certain compositions to make it in scary movies to make you feel uneasy. Because when the floor that you know is slanted, it shows a sense of uneasiness. So like when the camera's like tilting like this, or when you're watching like Inception. If anyone seen the movie Inception with what's his face, Leonardo DiCaprio. There's a lot of shifting in that movie based on dreams and stuff like that. That shows a sense of things are not as normal as it seems. Things are off. Things, even if it's not scary, it puts you on an off easiness because standing on a slant is not a normal thing to be accustomed to. That's what I'm saying. And because of this, this is why when I gave you guys this option on the lesson here, you guys got confused because it's not a straight line to you. It's a slant.
Or XLLDS says hopefully I'll be able to see the beginning of your live, so I can see how you do it.
You guys see the beginning of the live on the YouTube. It won't be on TikTok, so you gotta go on YouTube. I'm teaching this on YouTube, Twitch, and Trovo, so you can watch it on YouTube or Twitch. You can jump to that point. So yeah. So for those of you who are having a hard time with this is going to take some practice, but it's always the same pattern. It's always the same pattern. It's always the same pattern. It never changes. It stays the same and all that great stuff. So I hope this answers most of y'all questions, because with Peter here, like I said, yes, he's in the sky, but we don't feel a tilt. You don't feel a tilt when you actually watch Peter doing this. The only thing why you think it's up or down is because you see the buildings. If I were to take away the buildings and have Peter doing what he's doing and just standing,
IRRELEVANT said gotta go get some food, BRB.
Alright. So that's where the problem comes in. Now, for this one at the bottom...
Cosmo 618 just followed.
Now, let me show you guys at the bottom here, right here with Peter. So, as we
Doc
see...
said thanks. It's probably not too hard. I just need to practice.
It's probably not too hard. I just need
Yeah, that's why I picked it. I knew it was going to throw you guys off. I know, it's scary. I understand. I have to do that to see if you guys understand, or at least you're applying what I'm teaching you here. That's what teachers do. They need to see where you're weakest at so we can know what the strength is. All right, so now for this one, where is the horizon line? Is it at the top? Or is it at the bottom? Or is it at the middle? Our subject is Peter Parker, which is Spider-Man. Where is the horizon line?
Box said bottom.
Okay.
Ryuga Samurai said up. Alex said bottom.
Up.
Art Cuddy said I.
Okay. Okay. Alright. So...
Art Cuddy said bottom.
So, the answer for this one is... It's between... This one's a hard one even for me. Because, like, even though I can figure out that one, this is a little bit, because this one throws this off because you're paying attention to this 9 times out of 10. But if it's just on Peter alone, I believe that the horizon line is about bottom but halfway to his chest. Like I said, we can't see the top of his shoulder. We're not seeing the top of his head. We can't see the top of the hand.
Ryuga Samurai said, oh. All in One asks, are you making a comic?
No.
Bob said, why, but you can't see on top of his feet.
No.
Dot said, grinning face with sweat emoji.
Actually, if he was standing, if Peter was standing like this, we actually could. Let's just say he was standing. We actually could. It's just, you gotta always look at it as if they were standing. What's throwing everyone off is his legs up, his knees up, and this. And to prove this is that the line here from the bridge is going like this, right? And then another line kind of like this. And then like this.
Reason asks, how do I replay Yet Short Live?
It'll be on the front page of my channel. It'll be on the front page of my channel. Okay, so, let me see here.
Panda said IGTG.
Fienandalapan says IGTGCA teach and bright.
Okay.
Iris Vasquez asks, are you using the app to make that?
No, I'm using this to teach. I'm using this as an example for the composition. So because we can't see the top of his head, we see the bottom of him. I believe because actually we can't even see the.
Bob said the background got me again. Face blue covering eyes.
Yeah, that's what it does. This is why it's very important to learn something like this. Even it gets me. I was kind of thrown off by this because I was looking at this too. Right. So like these are great practice methods to do with others. I think what makes most people don't want to do perspective is because they don't like doing it alone, because they don't like to feel wrong. But if you're doing with a friend or someone that you trust, it makes it a lot more easier to take the burden or the you know. Let me see. Let's see. I'll do one more, and then we'll probably call it a night. And then we'll do more of this tomorrow. Let me see, we're looking now. Okay, we'll do this last one, the Spider-Man one. And this one's about the horizon line. I want to see if you guys can get this one. I think you guys can.
Art Cuddy said got to go by.
Alright, laters. Okay, let's see what you guys can get this one. Where is the horizon line in this photo? Where is the horizon line located in this photo?
WXLLDS says top.
Okay. Okay, they say top. Who else? Anyone else?
Box said middle.
Middle? Okay.
Ryuga Samurai said middle-ish. Iris Vasquez said middle.
Okay. So our horizon line, I would say our horizon line is literally at top. I would say the horizon line is at top. And I know this is because if I were to use like the buildings here,
Iris Vasquez said
the horizon, because remember we can see on
Dot said,
top
well,
of
I got it right.
WRXLLDS says, well, I got it right. But I still DK where you would put it exactly.
Because like
Kelly said, I can't see that far up
Blue
top.
Moon Energy says, I
Universe
can't see
Samurai
that
said,
far
"Vanish."
up top.
let me show you. So let me make this smaller because this is more of a off horizon thing, which is annoying to do. This is something you're gonna run into a lot, but okay. So let me take a line and try to line it up with.
Box said, I.
Try to line it up with the buildings. And once you line it up with the buildings, oops, I'm gonna make this as fair as possible so you guys can see it. I don't want to confuse any of you because that would be bad. That will make things difficult and it will discourage you guys to want to draw. So right there, and then we can do it again like here, about there. And because these two hit the line here, the horizon line actually is off the page, just to be clear. But it is on top. I'm following the lines within the buildings.
Reason said it's a lot easier to see on YouTube than the TikTok.
Yeah, it is actually. Let me pull it up on. Let me put like there. Is that easier? Is that easier, guys? I'm sorry about that. Is that easier?
IRRELEVANT said, man, I am dot late.
So it's like that. So that what makes this difficult.
Kelly said, all interesting.
Blue Moon Energy says all interesting.
Because if you follow the lines from the buildings and keep going straight off the page, and then you go to the next line that's next to it
Dot
and
said,
go
yeah,
off
thanks.
the page,
Roxel says, yeah, said, yes, that is easier.
they will intersect. Once they intersect, and then just even double check this. Once they intersect, they don't have to intersect in the same VP. They have to just intersect on the same horizon line. Okay? So if I were to take this line here and it goes off away from this, the point is to get the horizon line. That's the focus. They don't have to be on the same VP. Not everything is going to the same VP, but everything is going to the same horizon line. Okay? Does that make sense? It's like not every animal at a farm is a horse, but all of them are animals. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Not all animals at a farm are horses and pigs, but all animals that are at a farm is an animal.
Said, yeah.
Okay. So I hope that was helpful, guys. I hope you guys learned something today.
Blue Moon Energy says, what is the purpose of the horizon line?
What is the purpose of the horizon line?
The horizon line is built to dictate
Dot
everything.
WRXLLDS says, I'm lost on the VP now. Maybe I just have to sit down and actually practice it.
Maybe, but the VP, just a quick response, or rebuttal, is the VP, the vanishing point, is where you, the viewer, chooses it's you, the user, chooses to place based on whatever objects or subject you want to focus on the horizon line. So it doesn't matter how many, you can have 10 vanishing points. I can have 10 of them. It doesn't matter. You can have as many as you want. It doesn't matter. As long as it falls back to the vanishing point of what you want, that's good. But they all have to follow one rule. They must stay on the AHL,
said, sorry, got to go sleep.
our horizon line.
IRRELEVANT said, time.
You can have 40 VPs and have a bunch of lines from all of them. But as long as you have the horizon line, it doesn't matter. All of them, the horizon line dictates your visual eyes where it's going to, where you literally are standing. So whatever your horizon line is, whether you're up in the air, standing, floating, or in the on the floor, standing on something, or literally a mid view of something, this is your literal best friend. If you can't dictate where this is, you're going to have a hard time doing any perspective. You must make sure that the horizon line is established first before you do any type of perspective. It doesn't matter first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th perspective. It does not matter. As long as you do the horizon line first, everything will fall in line one way or another. Okay? So establish the horizon line. Any professional will tell you the horizon line is where it's at. Make sure the horizon line is. Okay. So whenever you start any drawing, whether it's a character poster, whether it's a environmental thing, make sure you have the horizon line established. And once you have that established, everything else will kind of follow your lead at that point. Okay? So I hope this was helpful for those of you who are learning this and having a hard time with this. We will do more of this tomorrow.
Episode says gotcha.
Because I want to really, because since I'm more well versed in drawing and hands and bodies and everything, it's time for me to move on to the next step to really improve on my understanding of making characters. Because if we can master perspective, we get everything in. All right, so with that said, have a great night, guys. Thank you for coming in. I do appreciate the last one of you. Please follow if you guys enjoyed this. If you want to rewatch this video, come on YouTube or Twitch, but follow the YouTube. I'll be making some tutorials. There is a tutorial that's coming out tomorrow. It's only 3 minutes long. It's explaining how to do heads. Some of you already on TikTok seen it already. It's going to be on YouTube. Everyone. So if you're new to the channel on YouTube, watch that video. It will be out tomorrow. Make sure to see it. It will be on front page tomorrow, I think around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or 1 o'clock. Well, somewhere in the afternoon. All right, night, guys. Later. Be safe. See you guys in the next one. Later, guys.